I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do, so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move, so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains. I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things. Gonna make a fucking name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain. I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent. and it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots, if I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. Bad energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic.
Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your mind and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself and my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna take bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate bitch, you can fucking fight me.
Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself and my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me.
Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your mind and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself.
Hey, y'all, what's up? Sorry, I had some bills I was trying to pay and I couldn't get my damn internet to work. And can everyone hear me good? Let me see here. Frankie Hopkins, I hope you're still here, Frankie. Fairy Floss, Wacky, hey, love. Linda, Betty Boop. No, Fairy Floss, I didn't see him on Court TV. We'll have to look at that. Oh, Fairy Floss. Tell my brother-in-law that's a good man taking care of my sis like that. Be good. Hey, love. Just trying to catch up here, you all. Betty Boop, yes, absolutely. You're allowed here. Panthera, for one, is a really good friend of mine, and even if you wasn't from her channel, you're still welcome here. We welcome everybody, even if we might not agree or whatever, or as long as you're coming here, and be civil, and if you have a beef with somebody in chat, just totally ignore them. You know what I'm saying? If you're just in here, I'm not about all that bullshit, and I like everybody. Well, not everybody. I can't say that, but yeah, you're good. Very Floss. Yeah, we might get a little brutal, like just joking around with each other, but we good people, I promise. We try to be anyway. We're real, and yeah, Sonia is my Fairy Floss. We get that a lot. I'll speak to her when she's in a chat, and so many times people said, who's Fairy Floss? I don't see her, especially Cher. She's done it a couple times, I think, and bless her heart. But yeah, that's my Fairy Floss right there. That's my love. And she got nice boobies. Wacky, even Goofy, Marshmallow. I unblocked Marshmallow, so they'll probably be here. I don't know why they love us like that. I don't get it, but they'll come in and tell us we're trash or we suck or I hate dishes too. Be good. I hate them. Boobies, yeah. We got the boobs. Cotton boobs, fairy floss boobs. Yeah, I love my fairy floss. That's my girl there. It's like my sister I never had, for real. I'm so glad you're back, fairy floss. Which we ain't been doing much but streaming that boring ass Murdaugh, but drilling only for me, you know, but why not go live? And y'all never forget when Fairy Floss sent me her boobies. That was the best day. And no, none of you motherfuckers are getting them. Those are sacred. Be good, huh? They'll be in here. They are like, they'll come in and tell us we're trash or we suck or my channel sucks or they'll be here. I don't like dishes, Wacky. I don't mind laundry. Laundry's relaxing to me. So I can get, washing dishes will be relaxing to some people. I don't see how, but I still love you, Wacky. That's what I'm saying, Boog. Be good. Come on over. I don't really mind dishes. I hate silverware. Silverware is the fucking worst for me. I know, Fairy Floss. It's my little happy place, too. I don't get out much I lurk a lot on the YouTube streets, but, there's not a lot of places where I'm going to chat at. And we'll trade, Wacky. I'll come do your laundry. You come do my dishes. Get your ass down here in Florida, Wacky. Oh, you'll buy new clothes. But you don't wash your new clothes when you buy them before you wear them? Because see, anything I wear, except for socks, I love the feeling of a brand new pair of socks when I wear socks. Because after you wash them, they're never the same. But any other clothes, I got to wash them before I wear them. I don't know. I'm just weird like that. They're itchy. You can smell them. And some people like that new clothes smell. Be good, Wacky, and Fairy Floss. Do y'all have wrenches? I can't see on this side. I'm not looking at my phone. Do you three have wrenches? Yeah, see, listen to your boyfriend. For once, he can be right. Like, I'm close to a couple more friends down here that are on YouTube, but I know our schedules. Well, I like the smell of gas too. Be good. Love bomb them. Okay, Fairy Floss deal. Y'all hear that? Somebody comes in being an ass. Love bomb them. Okay, good. Glad all y'all. Which I don't know who else is here. They're not chatting, but. Obsessed with washing your clothes, Fairy Floss? Okay, good. It's a house in Florida, Wacky? It's your porn. I love you, Fairy Floss. I bet you're a freaky, freaky girl. I ain't really got nothing specific to talk about, so we're just going to chit chat, and you might hear some crunching. I gave my little girls a bone to keep them busy. Oh, wow, Wacky. Ugh. That's kind of bittersweet, you know. I don't like to see anyone's parent die, but they're just, ugh. But yeah, y'all should come on. I hope y'all do get to keep it. I'll be your housemaid. I'll do your dishes, your laundry. I don't scoop litter boxes though. It's one thing I don't do. I'm not a cat fan. I don't like litter boxes. So if you got a litter box, you gotta do that yourself. I don't mind them being in the house, but just not my house. But I'm not gonna scoop. Man, cat poo. God, it smells horrible. Nikki, to pose. Hey, love. Nikki, years ago, my very first time I worked in Levittown, I thought of you today. I found this marble in a parking lot, and it was right after my stepdad died, the man that raised me. And he collected marbles. And I found this perfect marble in the middle of a parking lot in Levittown. There's like this flea market thing, and I was walking out, and there's this damn marble. And I picked it up, and I put it in my wallet, and I've carried it with me for years. And today I went to the store, and that marble fell out of my wallet. It was really weird because my wallet wasn't upside down or nothing. And I don't know, it just made me smile. And I thought of you because I found it in Levittown. Nikki, I'll come to Long Island and live, hands down. Hell yeah. I love Long Island. I love Long Island, then I love upstate too, because it's beautiful, you know, it's a whole different world there. Everybody thinks New York is like New York City. No, there's like 2 or 3 different worlds. There's upstate, then there's the city, then there's Long Island. It's like, hold on, I'll take a picture of it, Nikki. It's like a brownish color. It's all scratched up and stuff now because I've kept it in my wallet. And I have a rock in my wallet too that came because I got a family member that married into the Hatfield family from the Hatfield and McCoys. And I went to this Hatfield McCoy place, and I found this really pretty rock there, and I kept it in my wallet too because it's kind of close to home to me. But it's not too bad scratched up because it stays in with my change and stuff. Hold on. I got to read your comment, Fairy Floss. I'm going to squirrel off here. Hold on, Nikki. I'm going to show you my marble. Oh, that's pretty fucking cool, Fairy Floss. Hell yeah, you know. That's what's up. Is that why your internet was out? Because you was moving and stuff? Is that why you didn't have no internet? Oh, yeah, I would take a guinea pig in the house. Heck yeah, I would. Hold on, Nikki. I'm going to take a picture if I can get a good clear picture of it. It's getting a little dark here. Some of the stuff's wore off. You can see where it's chipped and it's kind of purplish. Yeah, it's like an amber color. It's clear. Let's see if I can get a good picture of it. Oh, it's looking darker than it is. Hold on here. I'm going to try to rig something up here. Let me borrow my doggy's blanket. It's gray. This marble means so much to me, and it's crazy. I wish I could get the true picture of it. It's not showing the true picture. My old wrinkly hands here. It's looking green and different colors than it is. Let me see if I can get up close on it. Looks like a pearl up close. Yeah, I'm gonna hold it up to the light. Let's see if that works. No, it's not going to work good. Damn it. I will get a better picture of this marble. I'll take it out in the sunlight tomorrow. It's kind of getting dark here, but hey, Squid. But yeah, where it's chipped off a little bit, where I've had it in my wall and stuff, it looks mermaidish underneath. That makes sense, Nikki. But it is an amber color, not like dark amber, like in the old medicine glass amber bottles and stuff. Not that dark, but it's that color. It's like a light amberish. But where it's chipped off some, where I've carried it, it looks like mermaidish, purplish. It might not even be a real marble, but, well, marble's a marble, ain't it? Some are just old. Like my dad, he collected those old glass ones, like the porcelain-looking ones, I guess. Tiger eye, so it might be a tiger eye. That is really cool, Wacky. Oh, Kurt Cobain. I am a Kurt Cobain fan. So am I coming to clean your house, Nikki? How you been, Squid? Green's your color, Fairy Floss? I don't really have a color. I used to be a really big blue color. Like, I loved blue. I don't know what I like now. I like gray and black. And I like olive green color. I like that. Me too, Nikki. I love black. Even in the summertime. I like purple too. Wacky. I do like purple. I kind of have drawn more toward purple whenever I was traveling on the road. I don't know. Purple is like I don't know. But purple grew on me. I don't like pink. I've never really been a pink fan. Like, I like that mauve color pink, like a rose color pink, if that makes sense. Yeah, I hate pink too, Nikki. I don't like it. I mean, like for a baby or something, that's a little different, but yeah, I'm not a fan of pink. Hold on here. I'm going to Show you the pictures I did get of this freaking marble. Ain't it crazy though, the littlest things like this that we just means more than anything to us. Let's see here. Saying, what the hell? Just a second, this stupid thing. I hate Apple products. Sometimes I swear I do. You freaking kidding me? It ain't gonna let me upload it for some reason. Okay, let's try this. Oh, I figured it out. What the shit? Oh, hell. Where's that bucket? Hold on, let me catch up on these comments for a minute. I am pretty good, Squid. Are y'all getting snow up there? I don't see how y'all stand that cold weather all the time. I would die up there. Oh, I bet it is hot down there. It's Fairy Floss. Fairy Floss, I need pictures of you in your dress, beautiful. iPhone 3S, God, that was a long time ago. I'm going to peep. Fairy Floss. Improv paint heaters get hot as fuck. All right, Nikki, let me show you these marbles. See, I can't get the correct color on it, but like that's up on a light. It looks yellow there because the light's shining on it. And this here, I was trying to get in the sun and I couldn't get it. And then that's about as close to the actual color, but it's a little more amberish. I love my marble. I think melting of the snow is the worst damn part, Squid. Don't you, though? It gets so nasty outside, and melting is the worst part. Belize, when your kids are grown, just move to the States. Tiger Eye, I sure will. Thank you. I love it. I've had it for 7, 8 years, I think. About 7 or 8 years, yeah. And it just fell out in the store today, and I was like, oh my God. My Levittown marble. Should make a necklace of it. I'd be afraid I'd lose it. If you can walk to a palm tree, come on, Florida. Everywhere. In the wild. There's gators everywhere too. Hold on just 1 second, y'all. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. My little girls were about to fight over a bone. Orlando, I like Orlando, but it's gotten a little rough over the past about 10 years. It's kind of went down. There is a lot of stuff to do in Orlando, though. Amber is the color of your energy. I wish everybody lived in Florida. Which, honestly, I'm ready to get the fuck out of Florida. Being real, it's like, yeah, Florida might be part of the South, but it's not really part of the South to me, if that makes sense. Because, like, there's very, very few original Floridians that live here anymore in the whole state. Except for, like, Miami, but that's, like, a whole different world down there. But I don't know, and shit's so expensive, and it's wild down here. It's really wild. I just like the weather. That's the main thing I like about it. Except for like on Christmas Day, it's like 85 degrees, and I'd like to have a little snow. You know, I grew up getting snow on Christmas. Yeah, Florida is this fucking tourist and people that's left up north and moved down here. And this ain't the South to me. Who said something about JLR earlier? Where was he at? On Court TV or somewhere? Did y'all see that documentary someone done on him? On here? It was a really fucking good one, and he like really fucking butthurt over it. I can't stand that motherfucker. I want to see that where he was on some show or whatever. And evidently, in my opinion, allegedly he is on federal probation, I believe, and he's not even supposed to leave his state, allegedly. Yeah, Deet's done the documentary. So Deet's done the... Okay, let me look here. Well, Deet's done a really good job on the documentary. And yeah, and he did not like that. I swear, Deet's... she's very talented. I give her that. She is very, very talented. Vanity Fair, is that what we're looking for? Wacky, I did not see that about Buster, but I seen something about Buster calling JLR media or something. Yeah, Deet's done the documentary. Is it Vanity Fair? Here, hold on. What is this? Okay. Who are you talking about? Squids, Deets. It's like, man, everybody has to fucking hop on the let's drag share bandwagon. What the fuck, man? And it's always grown ass fucking women. Most of them don't even show their fucking face. Come on, let's have you all that want to keep fucking dragging share and talking about her kids and this and that. Come on, let's let you cam up every fucking time you go live and let us fucking pick apart every goddamn thing about you. How about that? No matter what Cher fucking does, somebody's got something fucking sideways to say about her. I don't get the obsession. Why y'all obsessed with her? Not that she gives a fuck, but I do. Because that's my fucking sister, and I get tired of that shit, man. You'll see half these motherfuckers come in Cher's chat trying to build their fucking channel off of her, and she's so fucking kind-hearted, she'll help you. The next thing you know, they're fucking bashing her or running with the fucking enemies. Sorry. I get so fucking pissed over that stupid shit. Me and a few others have known Cher more than any of you motherfuckers on here. I'm not talking about y'all. But, yeah. I know, Yanni. I know you do, baby. I know you take up for her. Just, I know. You know, I'm protective of her too, but like when people bashing her and shit, I just stay out of it because sometimes it makes it worse on her. If you try to defend her, it makes it worse on her. A fucking men, Squid, bro. A fucking men. All these fucking clip channels want to hide their pussy ass behind and not even show their fucking face or nothing. And then you want to drag somebody else? Fuck out of here. I know, Yanni. I know it's hard to not say nothing, but really silence says a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it does make it harder on her. Because, like, whenever we start defending her, because I used to. And then she's like, you know, she tells people, don't fight my battles. Don't fight my battles. She don't want nobody fighting her battles, you know? And, you know, some of us say shit. Sometimes I'll fucking pop off on somebody or call them out. I will. But a lot of times, whenever like we go at somebody because they're doing share like that, they'll go at share 10 times more just because they know it fucks with us. You know what I'm saying? Fucking nay, there's my dog. You my homie. Are you naked? Some nice boobies running through the house naked. Yeah, Yanni, she really don't want us fighting them because it does make it harder on her sometimes. Y'all remember old fucking titty baby Bob Green? God, I used to fucking get that motherfucker every chance I got. And then it's like every time I turn around, he was making a new video on Cher and me. And I was like, fuck this. And that's whenever I really realized what Cher meant, you know, because it makes it worse on her. Because the more I would try to defend her, the more this person would put out about her, you know? And it's like, and y'all know, the only thing they got on her is the shit we've done heard 572.69 times. It's like, we watch her lives. We know. I've been best friends with her going on 30 years. There's nothing you can't tell me about this girl that I don't know. I know more shit that people don't know and they'll never know. You know, not nothing bad or nothing, but that's just my sister. And people have her so fucking wrong. They are trying to get a rise out of it. That's what they want, because then they got more content. They want to be the victim, so they have content. And that's exactly the only reason there's this one fucking bitch. Trust me, we would love to drag her. Me and Cher both would love to fucking absolutely drag her up and down a fucking sidewalk. But that's what she wants. So she can cry victim even more. And I will still fucking call this fucking bitch out every now and then. Some of you probably know who I'm talking about. I ain't gonna give her the fucking credit in the chat, but yeah, she wants us to fucking attack her so she can be the victim and cry, oh, Sharon Cotton, such horrible fucking people. They're so gross. Look what they done to me. No, bitch. I got messages, conversations, screenshots. I got a whole fucking file on you, bitch. Whole fucking file. Go cry over a wrench again, you broke down motherfucker. Okay, I gotta get back on track. You would, Fairy Floss. You know, you could really, you would be good at a channel for real. And living in Australia, like you could take us on drives and see the country and the roos and whatever. You know what I'm saying? People love Australians on here. Yep, don't give them what they want. Exactly, Fairy Floss. And I don't. But Squid, they are saying stuff. Now they're saying that she's forcing them online. She's forcing them to beg and this and that. They're still fucking talking about her kids. It's like, goddamn, man. If they only knew the whole fucking story with all of it, and that's nobody's business, and nobody's entitled to hear that. There's a lot of shit people don't know, and Cher's a fucking warrior, man. She broke the cycle of family fucking dysfunction. She broke that cycle. And that's one hell of a fucking accomplishment, because generational familial abuse and all that, it's real. And at some point, if somebody don't break that cycle, it'll continue. Look at Leilani and Billy Jonium. I'm not trying to bash them or nothing, but look what's happened. Fairy Floss, y'all should start something. Maybe y'all could like double cam one day or something and go driving, you know, and have your camera pointing out at the road. Both of you in different. Are y'all in the same part of Australia? I wish I could visit there. I need some Australian tank tops. I love tank tops and sweaters from other places. You're too lazy. I get that. Gas costs too much. Hey, fucking man, Yanni, I broke drug addiction in mine. I did. I had a drug addiction when I was a lot younger. And in June this year, I'll be 16 years clean. And my kids are fucking amazing. My oldest son has his own plumbing business now. All I ever wanted for my children was to be better and do better than I ever did and have what I didn't have. You know what I mean? And they got it. And it's an amazing feeling. And watching Cher these past 3 years grow and blossom and find true love, a man that loves and adores her no matter what. People want to talk shit about Mr. Cher, and he's one of the fucking best men ever. She's just came so far, and to watch her break that cycle. The day she was going to meet her father, y'all remember that on the bike ride? I cried that day. I'm about to cry now over it. But that's when I told Cher, I think that day, I told her one day, look, sis, you done it. You broke that fucking cycle. She broke it. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Fairy Floss. Congratulations to everybody that's broke something, It's hard. Hold on, let me read this. Yeah, Squid, they still fucking talking about her. Somebody was talking about one of her kids today. It's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Leave them alone. I mean, they're of age. If they didn't want to be there, they could go back to the States. Duh. Come on. And her boys, yeah, they might not be there, but she's doing and has done what was the very best thing possible for those babies. They're going to come up in the summer. They're going to come up on holidays. Mind your own fucking business. Let us fucking dissect your life. Ugh. Okay, I got to catch on my comments. I got to calm down. Y'all only live 45 minutes from each other? Y'all have got to meet up and do something. Yanni, isn't that a great feeling? Isn't it for real? I know exactly what you mean by that because my son called me and he's like, Mom, I'm like, yeah. He said, guess what? He said, I'd done it. I said, done what? He was kind of keeping it a secret because he didn't think he would be able to pass the tests and stuff. He said, I'm a business owner now. And I was like, no way. No fucking way, And that was the best feeling. That was the best feeling. Oh, that's awesome, Wacky. Sorry, I'm a little behind. I get emotional talking and then I can't keep up with chat. She don't deserve it, Yanni. Mark is a gentleman. Her and Papa Cher, yeah, that was the sweetest thing ever. And then Papa Cher afterwards sent her a message or something about Mark's one of the good ones, and that had to mean the world to all of them, to hear your dad say that. And people want to judge her dad too. Fuck off. He couldn't be too bad, He got out. I mean, yeah, he might. What? I'm not getting into that. That's not my business. Yeah. And if y'all remember when she was going there to meet her dad, her mom passed away on her way there. And her mom is the one that fucking was a monster to her whole life. Could you imagine having a little 2-year-old girl being chained up to a kitchen table? No, that's not cool. Something like that happened to a child at 2 years old or no older than 5. I think it was 2 years old. Just imagine what they went through when they got older. And older. Hit puberty. People have no fucking clue. They sit on their high horse. What, wasting your fucking time trying to put down another woman? Trying to use her trauma for your gain? To get clicks and views on a clip channel? Fuck out of here. I know, wasn't that cool? Fairy Floss, that mask, yes. I just love them all. The whole family. Yeah, Fairy Floss, you know what I'm talking about being chained to a table, and I couldn't imagine. Like, my generational dysfunction and shit was like my mom, which I don't call it beating nowadays, you know. If someone whooped their kid like my mom used to whoop me, you'd be in prison. But I'm very thankful that I didn't get anything too bad, but I did get the dysfunctional addiction and, you know, all that mess out of it. But I broke it. That's all we want for our kid, Johnny, is to have everything and be everything that we never was, you know? I'm sorry, Yanni. I haven't even really been on YouTube too much. Have you started your story yet, Yanni? Yeah, these women, I wouldn't even call them women. Sitting on here wanting to fucking pick apart everybody like that. Oh, thank you, Nikki. I try. Sometimes I'm not so strong, but we all can be strong all the time, you know? Yeah, me too. Fairy floss. I am. Don't be afraid, Yanni. You know what? What if, like, we done a private stream on your channel with just like me, you, and Fairy Floss? And then you could do it as a premiere, and me and Fairy Floss and all of us here would be in the chat with you, and so you wouldn't feel alone. We could do something like that. You know, you can stream private streams on here and then play them as a premiere. I know it's hard to start. It's like, where do you start? What do you say? What? You know, I get that. Yes, 100% Fairy Floss. I don't know if you just heard. I hate this because I got like a 10-second delay. Yeah, Jinx, Fairy Floss. So I said, yeah, I got like a 10-second delay. But yeah, just think about that, Yanni, and that might be a little easier, you know, because you'll be getting it out and you won't feel alone, and have whoever you want there, you know, share and wacky, whoever, you know. Just don't tell nobody you're doing it until you do it and premiere it. You know what I'm saying? And if it takes us 3 days, we'll do it in a 3-day segment or whatever. You're not alone. None of you are. I know a lot of times, you know, we might not all agree with each other. We might not do this, but a lot of us have been around each other for a while on here. Everybody's like, oh, it's just the internet and YouTube. No. I've met some of the best people in my life on here. I've met some of the worst too. Yeah, we'll be your wing girls. I'm down for that. Even if it's just for us to sit there and listen and just be there, you know? Because, you know, when you're on panel, it really is kind of hard sometimes when you're up here by yourself, especially if you've not done lives or anything or much. You know what I'm saying? When you're just starting out. Because y'all know me, I didn't even never go on a panel. Cher begged me for 3 damn years. Come on, sis. Come on. When you coming up? Nope. Nobody even heard my voice for 3 years or whatever. And Then I got mad that time what people was doing for JS for Justice, and I went there and cussed people out. And after that, it kind of broke the ice. And then the second time I went on a panel was on Queen Bees, and I cussed somebody out. And then I started doing my Kylie Rodney stuff, and then I started going live. And it gets easier. Ditto, Fairy Floss, for real. It sucks we're all in different places. That's the hardest part. You did, Fairy Floss. You did. You came up on panel with me. You sure did. And I don't know if it was that live or a different one. It was one of my very first ones. Sharon Tuck came up too. Do you remember that, Fairy Floss? I don't remember what live it was for her. I know Fairy Floss was on my first one. And I loved it because I was so nervous. Remember, I was trying to figure out how to screen share, and I was all over the place. The offer's there, Yanni, if you need us, love. All right, let me see here. Let me play this Deets on the Streets little clip. It's only 5 minutes of JLR or Bullhorn Betty or something. I don't know if this is it. Yeah, I don't go on many panels, Yanni. You know, I don't either. And if I do, it's going to be on shares or, yeah, somebody that I'm comfortable with. Just let us know, Yanni. Let's watch this little thing from Deets. And I don't like if Deets is dragging share, but no buts because it's not right. But Deets she's done a good job on that JLR documentary and some clips.
Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the Vanity Fair article. Just like in Quentin Simon's case, where law enforcement and media called out the tragedy parasites for being hecklers, this article calls out their online and offline antics surrounding the Idaho 4 case. Their first YouTube call out is Reverend Donna Serafina. She's a YouTube psychic who gained more than 10,000 subscribers based on a video that she did claiming that the murderer had a link to a local deli/bakery. The owner of said deli bakery had no kids, never been married, yet he was harassed by people online thinking that his fictitious son had something to do with it. As we know, whoever she was referencing in that video, that has over 100,000 views, by the way, has nothing to do with the Idaho murders, let alone the fact that they're not even a real person. Another thing that we've seen Reverend Donna Serafina do is her video on Summer Wells. And a lot of people in the true crime community took a lot of those statements as fact, and I still hear them mixed into Summer's case today. It's truly sad. Then the article gets to Bullhorn Betty. It's talking about reporter Brian Inton and his interactions with Bullhorn Betty. It says that crime reporters have been in competition with a new breed of paparazzo. While reporting on Gabby Petito from her killer's lawn, Inton found himself shoulder to shoulder with vigilante civilians and social media influencers like Bullhorn Betty, who would later upload 3 videos about one of the Moscow victim's surviving roommates, featuring a thumbnail image of Xana Kernodle's face with the words, "Why didn't you save me?" Like many sleuths, Betty's methods seem unscrupulous. She reports rumors and perpetuates harassment of innocent people. But for practical reasons, Inton has needed to find a way to coexist with people like her. "I just want to get my job done every day," refusing to speak ill of Betty. In part, he jokes, because I don't want her showing up to my house with a bullhorn. More seriously, Inton said that it's not up to him whether sleuths have earned their place among trained reporters, the reality is that our digital ecosystem elevates the voices of specialists and enthusiasts alike. At the end of the day, they're still going to be here, he said. I'm still going to be here. Something else began to happen during the Petito case, too. I just started to hear like cha-ching, cha-ching. Strangers were sending in random amounts of money on Venmo, a standard source of income for sleuths like Bullhorn Betty, which would have been fine if Enton were self-employed, but he had a salaried job at News Nation. $20 rolled in before he could figure out how to set his Venmo to private. One time he referenced web sleuths as internet people. When asked whether he thought sleuths might be causing more harm than good, Enton answered, I really think that 99... He caught himself. Well, maybe not 99, but like 90% of the web sleuths have good intentions. It's a common misconception that sleuths solved Petito's murder. In reality, sleuthing helped police focus the search for Petito's body. But it's a stretch to say amateur sleuths found her. As Isaac West, an associate professor at Vanderbilt University and author of The Serial Effect, True Crime and Contemporary American Culture, says, people are participating in a social drama, but their participation in achieving justice are disconnected. One is not causing the other. The article continues talking about Brian Enton's career, even parts of his life and upbringing. There's also a discussion from Enton where he wanted to use footage about a party that was happening nearby, but he thought twice about it because he knew sleuths could easily track down photos, names, or addresses for everyone in the fraternity, canceling kids on the cusp of professional life. And Enton didn't want that to happen. There's also a lot of information on how this affects not only victims psychologically, but also those of us who follow true crime on social media. There's even a section that talks about how Dylan and Bethany are still being attacked online by sleuths and trolls alike. The link is in the description below, and I really encourage everyone to read the full article. It's very good and in-depth. It says that it's part 1, so I'm really looking forward to part 2. My question for you guys, though, is do you think this will have any effect at all on the people that it's discussing, like Bullhorn Betty? They say there's no such thing as bad coverage, but if you're continually called out by multiple media sources for your antics, will the rest of the world finally catch up and just stop watching? Or will they be drawn to the drama? Let me know what you guys think below, and I'll see you on the next one.
Fairy Floss, I actually literally just pulled that up right before you said that. You are in my head today. It was probably Chronicles of the Shady or one of them squids, or Tragedy Pimps Exposed, or Dates is, I don't know. I'm not saying she hasn't, but she's, I don't know. Okay, let's watch this Court TV episode because I'm not sure as the hell not going to play it on from JLR's shit because he's fucking strike happy right now.
Stand up, Buster.
I do.
Is that Buster?
Yes, sir.
And is Brooklyn sitting next to him? Can you stand up, Brooklyn? Is that Brooklyn?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. That's all the questions I have.
So there's Buster Murdaugh and his fiancee girlfriend. I'm not exactly sure the status. I don't think it necessarily matters, but they're together, and that's Brooklyn. Brooklyn White is her name, and they're identified in court. And Buster, if you've watched the documentaries, there's Buster seems to be somewhat implicated in a prior incident involving a young man named Stephen Smith. Now, no charges against him. I believe there may be an investigation going on, but he hasn't been charged with anything. But a lot of people are wondering, you know, what's going on. And I want to play you this little clip. And this is after, I believe this is after the conviction of Alec Murdaugh. And we hear a voice in it talking about Buster. Take a listen.
How does Buster feel about you being found guilty?
All right, and we paid attention to it when we heard that, because a lot of people have been talking about this, about what happened to Stephen Smith. Is this going to be the next case? I think Chanley Pager spoke with Stephen Smith's mother. But now let me show you what's been happening in I got these reports that there was someone following or harassing Buster and Brooklyn. So we looked it up. We've got part of the police report I want to show you. And this is what the police report is saying. On the evening of 3/6/2023, Brooklyn White exited her residence and witnessed a reporter looking into the windows of her vehicle. White is familiar with this reporter, who she identified as Jonathan Lee Riches. White explained that for the last few weeks, Riches has been following her and Buster while at the courthouse in Colleton County, South Carolina. She's aware of how Riches found her. She's unaware of how Riches found her residence. White showed me a YouTube channel called Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates, which includes videos Riches has posted heckling Buster at the courthouse. Buster has requested to not be listed in the involvements or any subsequent reports due to privacy concerns. So I look at that and I say, wait a minute, I know who Jonathan Lee Riches is. He's got a YouTube channel. He covers all true crime stories around the nation. As a matter of fact, I spoke to him at the courthouse one day. I think he was streaming live and we were talking while we were waiting for the verdict. So I said, let's get the other side of the story. So joining me tonight in Tampa, Florida, host of Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates on YouTube, Jonathan Lee Riches is with us. Jonathan, great to see you.
Great to see you, Vinny. Thanks for having me on. Happy Friday.
All right. So what's your side of this story? We've got this allegation that you're following, perhaps stalking these folks at the courthouse. You're looking in the car. What's your version of what's been happening here?
So that's 100% not true, Vinny. I'm doing what every other media outlet is doing down at. First off, I don't really know who Brooklyn White is. I can, not to be mean, but I can care less about Brooklyn White. I'm more about Buster Murdaugh. I'm more about Buster and his role in possibly Stephen Smith. So while they were at the trial, I would ask Buster while he was going in and out of the court, what happened to Stephen Smith? Did you murder Stephen Smith? And then I also asked other questions about him getting kicked out of law school for plagiarism or whatnot, but he would never answer. He was always quiet. He would just stare straight. And a lot of my subs, a lot of my followers on my Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates channel are suspect of that. They want to know why he doesn't answer that question. Because, Stephen Smith's case is a mystery, found on the side of the road in the middle of the night, July 8th, 2015, on a remote road right near Alex Murdaugh's home. And then there's a lot of rumors and speculations about the ties possibly between Stephen Smith and Buster. So, I kept asking him questions. He wouldn't answer. So after the trial, I seen a lot of media outlets down there at one of the homes Buster Murdaugh stays at in Hilton Head. So I went down there to see what was up, maybe try to get Buster to answer the questions or, try to get an interview out of him. And there's lots of media out there. It's a circus out in front of his house. There's lots of media taking pictures every time he comes out, walks his dog, every time he goes walking. And I was out there and she actually, I guess Brooklyn, a female, walked out of the house and walked to her car. And some reporters started yelling questions at her about Buster. She immediately went in the house and closed these blinds, but then Buster peeks out of the blinds, he looks, and then he closes the blinds. And then about 15 minutes later, the police come and then tell all the media outlets, well, you guys are on public property because it's a public road out there and a public sidewalk. You're not breaking the law. Just don't trespass on their property and just do not knock on their door, go on their property. And we all agreed, said, okay, fine. That's good. Thank you for your service because we back law enforcement. And I was sitting in my car and then all these neighbors start coming out, shining flashlights at all the media's face saying, get out of here. You guys are media hounds. Get away. And I left. And then next thing I know, I see that a police report has been filed with my name and this woman here, I don't even know, name dropping. I could care less, not to be mean again. I could care less about her. I'm not there for her. I'm there for Buster.
Let me bring in another guest in Columbia, South Carolina, criminal defense attorney Lori Murray. Lori, down in South Carolina, where's the line? Where's the line between investigative reporting, trying to get a story, asking questions of someone who's in a public controversy versus harassment or stalking or anything else? Where's the line in South Carolina?
Well, it's repeated unwanted contact. It's following them wherever they go. It is sitting outside their house and watching them and just making them feel like they are not free to move around. And honestly, I mean, that it is kind of what the media is doing. I'm not specifically mentioning your guest, but the media in general has been really hard on Buster, and he's going through a rough time. I think we have to all agree that he is going through a rough time. And if you have any empathy at all, then you have to recognize that. And he needs a little space to get over it. He needs a little space to be able to walk his dog. But there is
so how much space? I mean, if someone is walking down a public street, can we ask them questions in South Carolina?
I mean, you can, but it's his right not to answer them. And I don't think that. I mean, I don't know why we have to take something away from the fact that he wouldn't answer his questions. I wouldn't answer his questions. I would ignore him too, because if he gives one guy questions, they're just going to keep flying at him. And honestly, it's paparazzi. It's None of the Murdochs wanted any part of that. But there is a point to these two reports. They have to have two reports to get a restraining order against the police. So that's why they've called the police. That's why they have reported this to police. I'm sure it's nothing personal against your guest. I'm sorry, I cannot remember your name.
Jonathan.
But Jonathan, thank you. I appreciate that. Sorry. But I'm sure it's nothing personal against you. But you have to have two police reports to get a restraining order. And this restraining order will go more than likely, if the judge is smart enough, against all media, not just you personally, but against all media back off of Buster and his residence.
And I just want a little more clarity, right? Because I've been in news for a long time. I mean, you go back to 60 Minutes, Mike Wallace chasing people, right? So what's the difference? Like, what's the difference here between a situation like that? Is it how close in physical proximity you get to him, or how often you were close to him in South Carolina?
I can't tell you. I can only tell you what our statute said. I don't know where he was. I don't know what their statute was. I know that over time we have gotten a whole lot stricter on stalking laws. There've been, especially in South Carolina, we had I think this is actually a new stalking law that is on our books. And I say new because it was new to me. It's probably 20 years old now. But there was a reason that stalking law was enacted. It wasn't because of media, but it applies to everybody. That harassment. Okay. To get the restraining order, you have to have the two police reports.
So, Jonathan, have you been contacted personally by law enforcement or by anyone representing Brooklyn or Buster?
No. Law enforcement, again, they came out that day and said that we were all following the law. We were on a public sidewalk, public road. We have the right to be there. Just don't, violate by going onto someone else's property, trespass. I want to add that, if Buster Murdaugh said out of his own mouth to me personally, hey, leave me alone, I would leave him alone. I would walk away. But I haven't heard nothing out of his mouth. As far as Brooklyn, I don't know her, and I can care less about her. This is about getting questions from Buster. Maybe he should tell people he doesn't want to speak. But the fact that he's silent, we don't know if he wants to speak or not. He hasn't said to anyone, hey, I don't want to talk, or leave me alone. He has yet to say that.
So you're down in Tampa right now, Jonathan. You on a different story? Are you going back to South Carolina?
I am. I'm going to follow the financial crimes of the Murdaugh family. Lori Vallow Daybell is going on trial in Idaho starting April 3rd. I am planning to go out there. Also cover the Moscow, Idaho case with Bryan Kohberger, preliminary hearing.
I have a feeling I'm going to be seeing a lot of you, Jonathan. I'm going to be seeing a lot of you. I'm going to all these cases. All right.
Vinny, I'm all over. And that's my job. And I know that, there's laws you have to follow, and I try my best to follow them.
All right. And I wanted to make sure that you knew what you can and can't do in South Carolina. That's why I brought in Lori Murray. She's the best of the best down there. So don't get arrested.
She's very smart.
Yeah, she is.
Well, and here's the thing.
We have 15 seconds. Go ahead. Last word,
15
Lori.
seconds. You did not break the law necessarily. They're filing these police reports just to get a restraining order. It's nothing personal against you. It's just to get the restraining order. They're not seeking to press charges against you.
We got to the bottom of it.
Thank you for the clarification.
Fantastic. Jonathan Lee Riches, YouTube. Thank you so much. Lori Murray, appreciate your valuable time every time you have you on.
But once I lied, I continue to lie. Yes, sir.
All righty. But yeah, that documentary, it's an hour and some long. Let me see here. There is a part I want to play out of it. This is Deets on the Streets again. Here, we'll watch. I'm not going to play it all because it's too long. But there is a couple clips that I would like to play. I want to play the Sandy Hook part because it's fucking disgusting, which I already knew about it, but I didn't know like all the details about it. And yeah. All right, here we go. That Ginger does need to be nut punched, little bitch boy. Yeah, I think Alex Murdaugh is covering for him for something. He's protecting Buster's guilt. Something written all over Buster's body, face, everything. Yeah, trigger warning. Thank you, Yanni. I'm going to play about the Sandy Hook.
After reading the plaque, all Jonathan cite the definition of a pimp. Tragedy pimp. I know that's the preferred term around here, but I prefer parasite. The definition of a pimp is to make use of, often dishonorably for one's own gain or benefit. So I understand why pimp is used. and the saying, tragedy pimps, I get that. But parasite makes a lot more sense for me because the definition is an organism living in, on, or with another organism in order to obtain nutrients, grow, or multiply, often in a state that directly or indirectly harms the host. It's also the second definition that I really think sticks. Someone or something that resembles a biological parasite in living off of, being dependent on, or exploiting another while giving little or nothing in return. I saw Jonathan had posted this video last week, and I gave it a chance. I truly did. And for those who don't know Jonathan's past, you might think, oh, what's the big deal? He just went to Sandy Hook to share the memorial and everything that happened there. But it's a lot deeper than that.
So it says, welcome to the memorial honoring the lives of the victims of the December 14th, 2012 shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School. This is a special place of quiet and reverence, place for the families of the victims and for the community to reflect and remember. Encased within the stone is the sacred soil created from the many items left in the spontaneous memorials throughout the town on the days following the tragedy.
After reading the plaque, all Jonathan does is walk you down and show you the memorial and read off the names. I kept waiting for it, for the apology that never came. At the end of reading off all the names of the victims, he said that he was praying for them. And I want to believe that, but I just can't. I'm sorry. It felt like to me he was exploiting them all over again. It might have been in a little bit different way than it was over 10 years ago when he exploited them the first time, but it feels like he exploited them nonetheless, using them solely for content, nothing informational or educational at all about the visit, and more importantly, no apology whatsoever for what he did 10 years ago. I know he did all the legal stuff beforehand and the fishing and all that, and we'll get into it. But to me, Sandy Hook is where he perfected his true crime, parasite, trolling career. And it's just spiraled since then. For us to fully understand how Jonathan got to this trolling parasite entity that he is now, we're gonna have to go back to the beginning. And everything that I'm reading, the articles will be referenced in the description under this video. Some of the articles are no longer available, but their newspaper or their affiliate will be linked also. In the early 2000s, when the less affluent, the technologically unsophisticated, and the simply reluctant masses were just starting to find their bearings online, Jonathan Lee Riches helped develop the identity theft technique known as phishing. He was in his mid-20s, living in Florida, and collaborating with teenage chat room acquaintances in Texas, who used spam emails to trick victims into disclosing personal information. Rich's role was to monetize the data, which he accomplished by seamlessly navigating the online and offline worlds. In contemporaneous news accounts, investigators describe the way Riches would stroll into a bank, flash fake identification, and coolly impersonate his mark, convincing tellers to hand over thousands of dollars in cash. The consequences reverberated widely. By the estimate of the FBI, the group charged more than $1.4 million to accounts opened in the names of about 2,000 people. Rich's own parents, who live in a small town in Pennsylvania, served probation for failing to fully cooperate with investigators. He was sentenced to 125 months in prison for fraud and conspiracy. Riches kept up a steady legal correspondence on his case. In March of 2006, from a medium security prison in South Carolina, he filed a motion seeking the return of confiscated assets, including 23 new PlayStation video games, a commemorative Super Bowl football, 66 new shirts with tags, I wonder if they all said media, a plunger, a subwoofer, and a box of life vests. The document drew little attention or sympathy, and a judge ordered the items forfeited to the FBI for donation to Goodwill. In hindsight, though, his signature on the sworn statement, Jonathan Lee Riches with the copyright symbol at the end, signified the start of an improvisatory publicity campaign. He used the copyright symbol that same month in a 9-page conspiracy complaint seeking damages of almost $400 trillion, backed by gold or silver. Filing his suit in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, he named several hundred defendants, including President Bush, Pope Benedict XVI, Bill Gates, and Kofi Annan. Riches' lawsuit was eventually dismissed on the grounds of failure to pay a $250 filing fee. But a more pretentious result did emerge. His work had been sucked into the internet slipstream with viral results. At this point, we are in the middle of 2006. At this point, his image begins to appear regularly on legal blogs such as Dreadnought, Above the Law, and even the hard-hitting Smoking Gun. One blogger called him America's favorite serial litigant. Over the next 6 years, he became a world-class irritant by filing absurd, frivolous, pro se lawsuits. He filed thousands of them against anyone and everyone. The Kardashians, Kanye West, whom Rich is accused of running a secret Al-Qaeda camp, Belichick, Michael Vick, anyone. So prolific a litigant was Riches that he became a one-man burden on the federal court system, a troll tagging the docket forever. In 2010, federal prosecutors want an unprecedented and possibly unconstitutional nationwide injunction against him to prevent him from suing, claiming that if he weren't stopped, the government would suffer irreparable harm. Riches immediately bypassed the injunction by slipping a batch of lawsuits to a soon-to-be released inmate to file on the outside for him. The prison cracked down hard after this. No paper in his cell, no stamps. This only caused Jonathan to go on a hunger strike in protest. After 22 days, the warden had him force-fed through a tube. This just shows his dedication to misinformation. Jonathan was different. He trolled harder, unafraid to use his name and face, often shunning a keyboard in favor of real-world trickery, all of which made him a more effective hoaxer. Now, I obviously cannot mention every single lawsuit because there are thousands, but the next couple I think are very important to mention. I would say it helps us understand Jonathan, but I don't think there's any understanding this guy. But it gives us some insight into the type of individual that Jonathan is, and it shows us the lengths that this man will go to effectively hoax, troll, parasite a situation, a tragedy. It's truly sick. In 2011, he sued Jared Lee Loughner, the defendant in the shooting of Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords. His reasoning was, and I quote, "I'm in fear that if the defendant transfers to FMC Lexington, he will be placed in solitary confinement, where I'm currently being illegally detained and possibly being my cellmate, in which he could use his bare hands or a prison shank to kill me for being a moderate Democrat." In his suit, Jonathan includes a 4-page handwritten story of how he had to smuggle his complaint out of prison. It's a complicated story. It involves ants and pigeons. In 2016, Jonathan will end up circling back to Loughner and impersonate him to sue someone else. But we'll get to that a little later. This brings us to Jonathan's release from federal prison in April of 2012. He was ordered to serve 5 years of probation, participate in any mental health treatment deemed necessary by his parole officer, and pay restitution of $92,680 at a rate of $200 a month. In legal filings, he pledged to capitalize on his fame by running legal workshops and selling t-shirts. He went home to live with his parents in Pennsylvania, but his parting shot, the Loughner lawsuit, marked a darker turn. A little more than a month later, courts in several states received requests for a restraining order against Jerry Sandusky, the Penn State assistant football coach convicted of child molestation. The plaintiffs, who all typed similar accusations in all caps, included people calling themselves Jonathan Bollinger, Tom N. Jerry, and Gino Romano. In his injunction, Riches, posing as Jonathan Bollinger, a cousin to Brooks Bollinger, a former Wisconsin Badgers quarterback, alleges that on October 5th, 2002, I went to Camp Randall Stadium to watch my cousin play, quarterback against the visiting Penn State Lions. Around the third quarter, I went to the bathroom. While urinating, I was approached by defendant Jerry Sandusky, who said he was traveling with Penn State and asked me if I wanted a signed Joe Paterno autograph, and I told him to leave me alone because I was peeing. And Sandusky said to me, "Let me touch it," and reached in the urinal and grabbed my penis, further saying to me, "Let me make your sexual fantasies come true." I told him, "Stop molesting me," and I'm reporting him to the police. Sandusky then left, but gave me a fair warning. "If you tell a soul I touched your penis, I will kill you," and left. Then after the game, I told my cousin Brooks, head football coach Barry Alvarez, Brian White, and Kevin Cosgrove, who the coaching staff told me they are friends with Sandusky and won't help me. I have suffered emotional distress since. I fear Sandusky is going to kill me. I seek a restraining order. Respectfully, Jonathan Bollinger. This completely fabricated injunction, ladies and gentlemen, was manufactured by the man who now covers missing children's cases. None too amused, a judge in Wisconsin identified the plaintiff as Jonathan Lee Riches, who has vexed the court system with thousands of frivolous lawsuits before his recent release from federal prison, and whose zeal for filing meretricious actions against newsmakers, celebrities, athletes, and politicians continues unabated. Threatening to hold Riches in contempt, the judge wrote, "Aside from the incredibly tasteless act of filing these false accusations in light of the very real victims of sexual assault against children, the individual involved here appears to have committed a fraud on this court." The admonition carried serious consequences, including the threat of a report to his probation officer. In a letter to the judge dated July 13th, 2012, Riches denied any knowledge of the lawsuit. He requested an attorney and a mental health evaluation because, quote, "I don't know what this paperwork means." Quote. Seriously, Jonathan? I can't with this guy. After this, Riches began to build his online social media presence on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. His next 3 lawsuits helped bridge that gap between online hoaxes and real-world antics. His behavior was beginning to escalate. In October 2012, he posed as Selena Gomez's father and filed a federal complaint against Justin Bieber for stealing his credit card and using it to pay for a penis enlargement. That hoax was picked up by multiple news sources, mainly TMZ, who ran with the hoax for a while. Then he posed as the brother of Kevin Federline, and that one exploded on Radar Online, and it brought a lot of attention to Jonathan. The third case was filed by a Jonathan Jolie, who sued Brad Pitt, John Travolta, and the Church of Scientology for, among other things, assaulting him. Jolie, meaning Riches, who claimed to be Angelina Jolie's cousin, wrote that he was hiding at the Italian embassy in New York for protection, and I'm wearing a mask. Included in the lawsuit is a photo of a masked man standing in a kitchen. He's holding a February 2003 mugshot of Jonathan Lee Riches. And then in late December of 2012, Jonathan commits the act that spurred the motivation to create this video. A decade after his first crimes of stealing personal profiles and going into banks to get cash advances from the identities that he stole, Riches begins venturing into the real world in search of material to post online. 2 days after the massacre of 26 children and educators at Sandy Hook Elementary School, Jonathan Lee Riches filmed himself driving to Connecticut. In the car, he displayed a photo of Adam Lanza, the accused killer, attached to a doll. He drove past recognizable landmarks, tried to approach the Lanza home, and turned back at a police checkpoint. Riches then drove to a makeshift memorial site in Newtown. Now, in his YouTube videos that he uploaded later online, he looked around the area for a while first. It then goes back to the memorial site where he identified himself to reporters as Jonathan Lanza, uncle of the school shooter. It was reported by the New York Daily News and other media outlets. He told journalists that the killer had been taking Fanapt, an antipsychotic drug prescribed for the treatment of schizophrenia. As photographers snapped away, Riches dropped to a knee and feigned praying for the young victims. Of course, as we all know, this was completely fabricated. Riches has no connection whatsoever to Adam Lanza, and he used this tragedy, this traumatic experience for the entire country. It's the worst school shooting, mass shooting in history. And Jonathan Lee Riches used that tragedy like a parasite. He exploited the hell out of it, and he was proud of it. Heels in the Air has this audio from a 2015 interview that Jonathan did. He describes his actions at Newtown, and afterwards will prove how he was lying again.
I went up to Sandy Hook. I did do it. I didn't say I did it in court, though. I tried to play the denial role, but, I was actually at Adam Lanza's window in his house and get chased off by a neighbor. I decided to get on my knees and start praying. At that point, while I was praying on my knees, I could hear the snapshot, like, camera snapshot me. So I thought, okay, let me just wing this. So I just pretend I was crying. And I started crying, going hysterical, and the cameras were rolling. I get up from the memorial, and this one media journalist comes up to me and goes, "Sir, you're very emotional here. What's going on?" And then at that point, I just winged it. I'm Jonathan Lanza. So at this point, by identifying myself as Jonathan Lanza, then I started to get flooded like cockroaches. Everybody, all media outlets started swarming me, wanting an interview and asking me my take, and I just winged it. I basically said I was with Adam Lanza 2 weeks prior. We had a barbecue. Everything was fine. It had to be the medication. It had to be the Fanapt, and so on and so on. At that point, I started getting worried, a little scared because I was getting overwhelmed with the media. I'm not used to media coverage like that. So I basically ran off, kind of walked away from the scene, but I was getting chased by media, and I didn't know what to do because my car was up the road, and I was parked across the street from a church. And believe it or not, during that time, the actual victims of the shootings, the family, were praying in that church. And the church was basically, there was security outside the church to protect the families and whatnot. My car was parked across the street, and I was running up the hill, and the media was chasing me, but I didn't want to get in my car because they might have gotten my license plate and realized that I was not Jonathan Lanza and identified me or whatnot. So I just looked at the church, and I just ran to the church. And at that point, the security saw me and must have realized that the media were chasing me because I was a victim's family member or somebody. So they grabbed me, the security, and ushered me into the church and told the other media to back off the property. And I get into the church, and I was thanking them, "Thank you, you saved my life. These people want to interview for me or whatnot." I said, my nephew died from this tragedy, and I switched the role playing at that point. Now I become a victim. There's victims' family members flooded in there, praying. And one of the preachers, or I don't know who he was, he must have been the head preacher there, come down and talk to me. And I said, "Look, you don't even understand, these media here trying to get an interview from me, whatever like that, and I need your help." So he brings over a big gentleman inside the church, and he goes, "This guy's a retired police officer. He's security here. Give him the keys to your car. He'll pull it around back, and you can get in your car and leave." And I was at that, for a second, I was going to give him my keys, but I realized on the front seat of my car was Adam and Ryan Lanza's dolls that I had. So I said, no, I can't go that route. But I said, I need some help getting out of here. Whatnot. He said, "Well, come down to the basement. I'll give you a change of clothes, like a disguise." And this guy here, he had like some escort guy. He said, "He'll take you through the woods, through the town, down the street and you can go about your way. And I said, okay, this is cool. So I put on a different outfit, went out the back door of the church, and we started walking in the woods. And then I realized how, this is ridiculous. This is cold, whatever. So I just gave my keys to the guy that they had with me. I said, look, dude, here, just take my keys. This is my car. It's across the street from the church. Bring it down here right now, whatever, like that. I got lucky because on my front seat, the dolls were there, but I had a towel over the dolls. So he didn't get to see the dolls. So I start driving off. I see the media still outside the church. I drive down to the high school because the word was Barack Obama was going to fly into town and talk to some of the victims' families. He was flying. So I actually parked down the street from the high school and went through the woods up to the high school where there were some media people already camped out there. And I was there for a while. I was there for about an hour or two, but then Secret Service came. They came early before Barack arrived and started sweeping the property. So Secret Service, they asked me up for my media credentials. They asked me who I was, and I told them, I'm media. I'm an independent journalist. And they asked me for my media credentials. I didn't have any and stuff like that, so I got escorted off the property. That was around 4 p.m. that day. This was Sunday, the 16th. The 14th was on a Friday. Sandy Hook was on a Friday, so this was the 16th on a Sunday. It was later on in the day, and I started seeing pictures of me viral online, kneeling at the memorial and whatnot, news programs as Jonathan. But then I guess something happened in the next day or two where people started realizing, I wasn't who I was, and then that started going viral. A lot of these places that put me out as Jonathan Lanza started retracting it. I just think it's amazing that the media would actually put me out there as Jonathan Lanza without me providing them any credentials and, just saying who I am. I mean, that's a classic form of media trolling and incompetence on the media's part, I would say. So that was the deal. Basically, I posted the videos up on the Facebook, local police department. I don't know, some way from how I get some calls down to my police department. It says the videos are all mine. And then I'm just taking a shower. I guess it's on the 19th of December. And there's a knock on my door, and there's about 20 police officers at my door ready to detain me. And I haven't seen the light of day since.
So Jonathan's first lie was that he was at the window of Adam Lanza and a neighbor ran him off. Well, thanks to his own recording, although this is not from him, it's another YouTube channel had it posted, and it was also on a news site. But from his own recording, that's not what happened.
Jonathan Lee Riches. And I'm here with my friends Adam and Ryan Lanza. And we are at Bresson Farm Road. And we are going to the neighborhood of 36 Yogananda Street in Sandy Hook, Connecticut. We are going to go to the house of Ryan and Adam Lanza.
Okay, I removed the audio and sped this next part up because all he's doing is driving up to Adam Lanza's house with his creepy ass dolls. I wanted to leave the audio on the first part to prove to you that it is in fact Jonathan Lee Riches. You can tell that from his voice. But there's also a part coming up where I will freeze it and you can see his face. So we know it's the day he went to Sandy Hook. He's attempting to go up to Adam Lanza's house. He gets turned down by law enforcement, other people protecting the house, and asked to leave. There is no neighbor. He didn't go up to any window. He never even got out of the car. Just more fabrication from Riches. Everything this man does is a made-up story.
Well, I just got kicked out. The guy told me to turn the camera off. We just got kicked out. Just let us go. I don't know what's going on there. How do you feel about that? I had to throw the dolls down. Oh, I'm sorry. I ruined your face. I'm sorry I ruined your face, Adam. Anyway, this guy here told me to turn the camera down. Turn the camera off.
There's a couple other lies that Jonathan tells us in that audio clip, right? There's about 30 minutes of video from his trip to Sandy Hook. I'm not going to share all that because it would just be ridiculously long. But there's a few pieces of audio I really want you to hear.
You'll see there, down that street there, it's Sandy Hook Elementary School. Police are not letting anyone go past there unless you are law enforcement. I believe they're trying to cover something up. I believe this whole incident was a false flag attack. I believe that Adam Lanza was mind controlled by the Illuminati or possibly by some sort of New World Order global elitists. I'm here as a truth seeker to figure out what's going on and to find answers, because this will affect every American with the taking away of their civil liberties and the disarmament.
There were multiple memorials around Sandy Hook, and Jonathan visits them all.
Jonathan Lee Riches, Sandy Hook Elementary School. The front entrance. They're not letting anyone in. Adam Lanza was a victim of a mind control experiment orchestrated by the Illuminati. And I'm here to solve the puzzle. Jonathan Lee Riches. And today is December 16, 2012, and I'm behind the crime scene. I've made it behind the police. And this is downtown Newton, Connecticut, site of the Sandy Hook school shooting massacre.
So we've heard twice now that he was unable to get access to the school. Praise the Lord. And we're about to hear it for a third time.
And I was just down at the Sandy Hook school, but they wouldn't let anyone in. I got it blocked off.
Jonathan claimed in the audio that he was accosted by media and chased to a church because his car was parked across from the church. That's not true, because we'll see at the end of this clip where his car is parked. And the church is much farther down if you look at the map. He also claimed that he's changed his character for a third time and was taken through the woods and hid out to go to the school because he wanted to see Obama. And I think in the audio he said it was around 4 p.m. We can tell from his videos that he is there early in the day. We can tell from news reports that when he tells them he is Jonathan Lanza, it's in the mid-morning hours. And then he has video of himself leaving the area that afternoon. So again, nothing but lies from this man. Lies about the horrific hoax that he did. It's just ridiculous.
And if you notice, going over to my car, and I'm going to show you something. Look at all these news meetings. But when we go into my car, what do we have here? What's under the masks? Yeah, it's Adam and Ryan Lanza. And we're together in downtown Newton. I'm here to seek the truth.
This clip is from the day before, on the 15th. He had planned to go to Newton. He's with his creepy ass dolls again, and then he burns a picture of Sandy Hook School. At the end of Heel's audio clip, there's a part that I cut off, and it's Bullhorn Betty claiming that Jonathan was brilliant for doing this. It's actually kind of smart if you think about it. She says he's proving that the media doesn't do a good job of fact-checking their sources. I'm curious how often Betty or Jonathan or any of these tragedy parasites fact-check their sources. But what Jonathan did 10 years ago and what he is still doing today is akin to what Alex Jones did to the victims at Sandy Hook. You are making a mockery of this tragedy. This is not an individual who is a self-proclaimed advocate for anyone. This is truly just horrible, and it continues to get worse. A few days after Sandy Hook and posting his videos on social media, because we know that's what Jonathan does, his probation officer saw them, and you can clearly see his face in that one video. He violated his probation. This article states, Jonathan Lee Riches of West Goshen Township appears before Chester County Court Judge Jacqueline C. Cody on Thursday morning, accused of violating his probation by traveling to Newtown, Connecticut in December without permission. He told the judge he suffered from mental illness and does not always follow his prescribed regimen. I know that I have to take my medications, he said. I need treatment, Your Honor. He acknowledged feeling better since his incarceration, a contradiction to a letter one of his many followers posted on Facebook, in which Riches allegedly complains that Chester County Prison was starving him and keeping him in isolation, accusations the prison empathetically denied. Assistant District Attorney Andrea Cardamon told the judge that the offense marked Riches' fourth probation violation since 2000. A history of disturbing infractions that was interrupted while Riches spent 10 years in federal prison for duping AOL customers into giving him personal information that he used to make fraudulent purchases. He was paroled in April. In addition to making harassing, obscene phone calls, Riches has filed forged documents claiming he was working for an Illinois law firm, posted personal data, including a social security number of his probation officer online, and demonstrated a kinship with recent mass murderers, Cardamon said, recommending a 1 to 5 year state prison term. Defense attorney Robert J. Donatoni acknowledged that his client needed to be punished. However, he urged an 8 to 12-month county sentence. He pointed out that Rich's behavior also prompted a federal detainer. The federal government is waiting to see what happens here, Donatoni said, suggesting that the federal system's medical facilities are better equipped to meet Rich's needs. He's mentally ill, Donatoni said. I don't say that as an excuse. I say it as a statement of fact. Donatoni said Riches was delusional enough to file record number of lawsuits from federal prison, citing a suit against Hurricane Katrina as an example of his client's tenuous grip on reality. The suits, many of which garnered headlines, were so frequent and frivolous that a federal injunction was filed and Richards ended up in solitary confinement, Donatoni said. Before issuing her decision, Cody watched a brief portion of the YouTube video that landed Riches back in prison before indicating that she had seen enough. In the video, Riches talks about being a truth seeker who will determine how Lanza was mind controlled to unload his weapons on school children. I know mental illness is a difficult thing to live with, said Cody, but she said things have been getting worse and worse to the point of causing serious emotional harm to a lot of people. Rich's parents and a family friend attended the hearing. Also in the courtroom was West Goshen Township Detective David Morter, one of the officers who has fielded concerns from people across the country about some of Rich's postings. Police said they have been monitoring Riches since his release in April. In fact, that vigilance generated Thursday's hearing. While watching the December video in which Riches describes approaching the Connecticut residence of Adam Lanza, officers saw Riches' face briefly when he dropped the video camera. Because Riches had not notified his probation officer of the trip, he was cited for the violation. After the hearing, Donatoni said he is concerned that Riches will not get the help he needs in state prison. He said he expected federal authorities to impose an additional penalty, although no hearing has been scheduled. He said that term could be consecutive to the Chester County sentence. A strictly penal sentence will not serve anyone. He's seriously mentally ill, said Donatoni. He needs to be in a place where he can get treatment so he doesn't get worse. Cardamon said she was pleased with the sentence, in particular because it prioritizes the need to protect the public and the community. She said both Chester County and the federal authorities have been attempting to address Mr. Rich's mental health needs for over a decade. The sentence imposed by the court today ensures that the community will be protected while these efforts continue. I don't take the claims about Jonathan's mental health lightly. However, I also don't take what is happening to these victims lightly either. And maybe you're saying the same thing that Betty says here.
A shooting that happened in
Sandy Hook.
And him making a joke of it and that type of stuff. There's been no answers for that.
But when you realize that was over a decade ago, and you realize that was like 12 years ago.
So, okay, yeah, this was over a decade ago. I get that. I would like to point out to Betty and Jonathan that they have harassed people whose criminal records are well over a decade ago as well. Lots of people. But it's okay for Jonathan? Let's go ahead and see what he's done since then, though. Has he changed his behavior? Jonathan spends 3 years in prison for that parole violation. I can't find much on him during his time in there until the very end. On March 18th, 2016, Riches knowingly and willfully made, used, and filed a false and fraudulent writing and document falsely and fraudulently posed as Jared Lee Loeffner. In the phony lawsuit, Riches sought $25 million in punitive damages from Giffords for emotional and psychological distress. While posing as Loeffner, Richards said Loeffner was illegally incarcerated based on false statements by Giffords. He also couldn't help himself, and he had to get involved in filing a lawsuit on behalf of Jason Dalton, the Kalamazoo spree shooter. Multiple media outlets reported about the jaw-dropping $10 million suit that Jason Dalton, the alleged Kalamazoo spree shooter, had purportedly filed against ride-sharing company Uber. Dalton, a former Uber driver, stands accused of killing 6 people and wounding 2 others between passenger pickups on February 20th in the western Michigan town. News of Dalton's supposed suit came days after police revealed that during an interrogation, Dalton claimed that he was possessed by the devil through his use of the Uber app. In the multi-million-dollar suit, Dalton alleged that Uber had subjected him to a hostile work environment, and that working for the company had ruined his life. When it was discovered to be a hoax and Riches was called out, this is what he had to say for himself. I, Jonathan Lee Riches, wrote the lawsuit. I drafted it up and it got sent to the courts. And I'll tell you the reason why I've done it. This jerk here ruined a lot of families. He hurt a lot of people. Do you understand? And now he's sitting in jail at the taxpayer's expense, sitting comfortably in solitary confinement. He's sitting there eating commissary and just sitting nonchalantly. Well, it ain't happening. I'm speaking up on behalf of all the victims of this tragedy. My intent was to file the lawsuit, not necessarily to fool the media, but I wanted to create a lot of hostility towards Dalton. He's sitting in prison comfortably. You know, if you file a bunch of lawsuits in an individual's name, the clerk of court and the court will pretty much authorize the prison to take $350 out of that person's account because they have to pay the filing fees. This is in reference to the 1996 Prison Litigation Reform Act. So what I'm trying to say is the more lawsuits that get filed in Jason Dalton's name, the clerk of court and the courts will send a notice to the jail or the prison, wherever the individual is, authorizing them to take $350 out of the prisoner's trust account. Therefore, Jason Dalton can't get no commissary because his account will be frozen. He'll be so in debt to the courts. I hope people all around the country file suits in his name. I'll continue to file suits in this man's name, and I strongly encourage other people to do it. Dalton might be a monster, but what Jonathan did is he turned him into a victim of Jonathan's crime. There are 2 more lawsuits that Jonathan did before he was released from prison that I want to share with you. And it might be repetitive of me to go over these suits, but I want you to realize the scope of what Jonathan has done, the torment that he has put on people. And I know he probably thinks these lawsuits are a victimless crime, but they're not. In this handwritten lawsuit, Jonathan poses as a man named Jahidi Shitz. I don't know if that's how you say it, but that's what it looks like. And he sues a couple that have recently won the Mega Millions in Tennessee. He alleges that he was in contact with their daughter Tiffany, as well as the winners themselves. He states that he lent the money to Tiffany Robinson for the winning Powerball ticket that her parents purchased. Some of the comments made by Jonathan in his lawsuit go beyond frivolous. He actually tries to claim that he was in personal contact with the Robinsons' daughter, Tiffany, and that he wanted her to be his Muslim bride, to leave America with her and live in the land flowing with milk and honey. The lawsuit has caused many alarm and sparked conversations regarding the safety and security of lottery winners, especially those who win huge amounts of money like the Mega Millions and the large Powerball jackpots, like the Robinsons did. This is what Jonathan wrote in that lawsuit. I am the actual true winner of the Powerball jackpot. For the last 2.5 years while I was incarcerated, I was pen pals with Tiffany Robertson. She was a fan of mine and a Facebook follower, and she wrote me dirty letters, which I have as evidence. And she said she wanted to marry me when I got out of prison. Tiffany told me that no one on this earth treats her better than me, and then I sent her $20 from my prison trust fund account and told her to use the money for Powerball tickets because if we win, we will leave America and live on a remote island full of milk and honey. And I told Tiffany to give my money to her parents, Lisa and John Robinson, to buy Powerball tickets because they couldn't afford to buy. And they promised me if they won any Powerball, I am entitled to half the winnings. Now I find out this Robinson family won the Powerball. Tiffany changed her number. The whole Robinson family defriended me on Facebook. I am not in prison no more. He was in a halfway house at this point. I am a practicing Muslim, and Tiffany was going to be my Muslim wife. And now I'm homeless. I had to borrow pen and paper to write this restraining order. Now, the whole Robinson family are going to run around this earth spreading Powerball money that belongs to me. I am so heartbroken by this injustice. I feel Tiffany conned and bamboozled me and manipulated my love for $20 and sold me out. Now she is laughing at me while I collect crumbs. I had to go to a psychologist to get depression medication because of Tiffany Robinson. She's responsible. I seek a restraining order against the Robinson family collecting any Powerball money. The money belongs to me. I paid for the winning ticket. I seek a full congressional investigation. I seek half of the Robinsons' earnings. I pray for relief. If we have learned one thing from Jonathan's lawsuits, it's that he can easily conjure up a story, a narrative, twist facts to bend in his favor. And we see him do this frequently now in true crime. It's disgusting. The last lawsuit that Jonathan Lee Riches files before leaving prison halfway house situation that he was in is kind of ironic, but he files a suit seeking an injunction and a temporary restraining order to stop Donald Trump from running for president. I can't even. The reason it's ironic is what he spends the rest of his year doing. Whew, we're gonna get into it. After his release, Jonathan spends the rest of 2016 and 2017 perfecting his skill. I don't know what else to call it. He becomes very prolific in social media, creating
Okay, I'm going to end it there, and because I don't want to play their whole video. I want to. There's more to this, but hop over and watch it, y'all. It's fucking wild. Do you still feel the same about him, Fairy Floss? Yeah, he's. And just imagine the shit that none of us know about that he's done, that the law don't know about, or just imagine that. This is crazy. This is some crazy fucking shit. Now he's gotten to the true crime on YouTube and all that, and yeah, he needs to go. He's fucking horrible. I want to know for sure if he's on probation still. I heard that somewhere this morning, and I don't want to state it as facts because I really don't know, but allegedly he's on federal probation or parole or whatever in the hell they do. Yeah, he's a weirdo. He's a weirdo, and so many people fucking just adore him, and they have no clue about this. Because you know how these tragedy pimps are. Every new high-profile case or whatever it happens, they get a whole new group of subs that don't know them. You know what I mean? It happens with everybody, but so they get to brainwash these people, and then eventually they find out. Some don't, but yeah. And the last I checked, he had teamed up with Lana from Truth and Transparency too. They were buddies, so that says a lot. Says the fucking bitch that made fun of Shanann Watts and her kids. Yeah, I heard he's still on probation too. Federal probation, actually. Yeah, he does weasel his way out. Everything 'cause he's a fucking weasel. I think what he's doing is he's using YouTube as his job, quotations, to go work out of state and stuff with his probation officer. Does that make sense? Like you can get passes to go do stuff. Is the way I took it. I can't remember where I heard that this morning. I think it was Queen Bee talking about it. Maybe check out Queen Bee's live from this morning. I think it was her that was talking about it. I'm not positive. See, I know him from Chris Watts' case because he was a fucking donkey in that case too. And then he got on Gabby. And whenever I seen him join Gabby Petito's case, oh my God. I was like, here we fucking go. Yeah, we need to, I don't know. I don't know what to do, but I just think this dude needs to go. He's dangerous. Anybody that says they're Adam Lanza's uncle and goes and exploits Sandy Hook and says it's not real and stuff, you're a piece of fucking shit. Like Gabby's case, Squid. Actually, on Gabby's case, he done halfway decent. I give him that. Which I don't give him much at all, but he didn't show out too bad. He showed out, but not on his normal fucking shenanigans. You know what I mean? But that was also whenever he was just starting out on social media and stuff like true crime. And so, yeah, he had to put on a good front. Yeah, a lot of people know who he is from Gabby's, but he also done the same kind of fuck shit during the Watts case. Yeah, but head on over to Deets and watch the rest of that. And she done fantastic on that documentary, didn't she? I mean, that's like some Netflix stuff there. I would not have the patience to do that. And it's over an hour. And she done fantastic. She done her research step by step, year by year. Good job, Deets. And Jonathan's all butthurt over it. I think trying to strike her down and stuff, but it's the double standards with Jonathan, you know. Here, let me dox you, let me do this, let me hurt these people, but you can't do nothing to me. Don't dig into my past. You know, that's his kind of fucking motive thing. He don't like it now when it's done to him, when everything about him's out there. Like he does all these people fucking stalking Buster Murdaugh and all this shit. Fuck out of here. He's a piece of shit. I never did really like him. Especially after I found out about the Sandy Hook. That done it for me. Let me see here. One second, y'all. Hey, Lucia love, how are you? Oh, I didn't see that, Squid. I was just searching for like some little clips and stuff of him just now, and I found one. Jonathan Lee Riches, y'all know I can't talk right. Litigious man on the news. And this was 4 years ago.
Man may be in big trouble for tampering with mail belonging to James Holmes. We found him bragging about it online, and we asked the feds about it. They suspect fraud and confirmed they're investigating where the suspect's mail may be going now. Reported James Holmes had ammunition and tactical gear sent to his apartment in Aurora. But now someone else hundreds of miles away may be getting his mail. That's this man who was just released from federal prison in April after serving 10 years for wire fraud. His name is Jonathan Lee Riches. He's notorious for filing thousands of bogus lawsuits against celebrities, and he may have filed bogus motions in the Holmes case too. This week, we noticed Riches posted this Facebook photo of a magazine addressed to Holmes. The yellow mail forwarding sticker shows an address in Pennsylvania where Riches lives. We contacted postal inspectors about it. They checked it out and told 9 Wants to Know they think the stickers are real. There is now a criminal investigation. Denver-based postal inspector Pamela Durkee said in a statement, a change of address for Holmes had been filed that may be fraudulent. Upon hearing this, we immediately notified the Postal Service and the forwarding order was canceled. In the meantime, Riches has been posting some very odd YouTube videos about James Holmes and appears to be quite obsessed with the suspect. He was even acknowledged by the Guinness World Book of Records for filing the world's most lawsuits. After that, Riches sued Guinness. They have no idea yet, at least the feds have no idea yet, on when or how long Holmes's mail has been forwarded, but the date on this magazine that was posted on Facebook is August 21st. Either this guy is a prankster or he is actually forwarding this mail here. Either way, he's got the attention of the feds.
This is what the federal government subjects me to. I was a perfectly clean-cut white boy, and then the federal government destroyed my life, more or less. They put me in prison for a non-violent crime, served 125 months illegally, was subjected to solitary confinements and force feedings. Now look where I'm living. This is what I'm subjected to. Take a look. So that's what I'm living in with. This is my life. I'm aggravated, I'm pissed off, I have a lot of resentments, and I can't accept the fact that this happened to me in my life. So I'm going to make change. Peace.
Jonathan Lee Riches. And today is 12/13/2012, and I would just like to wish my friend James Holmes a happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you. I love you, Jimmy.
AT&T, how may I help you? How may I help you?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is James Holmes. I need to make a collect call, please.
All right, what number?
202-456-1414. That is the White House.
There's the block on it, no collect.
Well, I'm trying to call Barack Obama. I need to get a presidential pardon. Can you help me?
No collect.
Excuse me?
No collect.
I mean, I'm trapped here. I need... Okay, please get somebody to help me. I need to make a presidential pardon.
AT&T you got trouble. How may I help you?
Yes, hi. My name is James Holmes, and I need to make a collect call, please.
Sorry, but they don't accept collect calls.
What do you mean the White House? What is our president for? That's Barack Obama. I need to make a collect call to make a presidential pardon.
Thank you. They don't take collect calls. You're going to have to pay if you want to call.
Well,
the number.
Is there any way you could get Barack Obama to come visit me?
No, I don't have the president's message center. This is the operator of the phone company.
What? I thought our president is accessible at all times. That's what our president's for, correct?
At the phone.
All right. Well, what do you recommend me to do? How do I call my president? How do I speak to my local politicians? I need a pardon, ASAP.
Goodbye.
All right. Have a nice day.
You fucking with.
I'm pausing this every now and then, like not pausing it, but muting it because the music and stuff, because I don't want them to strike me and shit. So if it sounds like I'm on mute, I probably am because it's music or something playing.
Jonathan Lee Riches. And this place here is the Islamic Society of Chester County. Entrance for women, entrance for men. And me and James Holmes wanted to take a trip. I have a letter here. I'd like to read it. Dear Islamic Society of Chester County, on behalf of Jonathan Lee Riches and James Holmes, we would like to wish you a happy Hanukkah. Please accept our donation of food, a token of our appreciation. Jesus loves you. Jonathan Lee Riches and James Holmes. I'm going to... Here is pork skins and pork rinds. And here is pork and beans with bacon. There you go. All right. And free James Holmes. James Holmes is innocent. Okay. Peace.
Sex, love, pain, baby, I be on that tank shit. Buzz so big, I go find and celebrate this. Can my album drop bitches a vibe for the picture? Niggas a vibe to it, think they got it for their sister. Magazine, paper, girl, the money ain't the dish. They been dead until my roommate asked me to initial. She called me the referee, it's not so official. My shirt ain't got no stripes, but I don't make up for it. So, like the Andy Griffith theme song. And who told you to put the jeans on? Double cup love, you the one I lean on. Feeling for a fix, then you should really get your feet on. Yeah, just know my condo is the crack spot. Every single show she out there rapping like a mascot. Get it from the back and make it fucking broad strap pop. All up in your slot till the nigga hit the jackpot. You all I ever wanted, we can do it real. Hey, there you ain't done it, you be up on everything. Another hope we never know it. I want this forever, I swear this feeling never go it. She hold me down every time I hit her. When I get right, I promise that we gon' live it up. She made me pay for it, so she keep it up. And I say the same thing every single time. I say you the fucking best, you the fucking best. You the fucking best, best I ever had, best I ever had, best I ever had, best I ever had. I said you the fucking best, you the fucking best. Oh shit, that's somebody. Dr. G.
Jonathan Lee Riches, and I'm with my friend James Holmes. Look, he's going upside down, but that's not the issue. Look where we're at. Wow, what is this? Oh my God. Look at the menu. James, what do you want? Is this McDonald's?
Yes.
Sir, me and my friend, I'm with my friend James here. James, what would you like to eat, James? James is interested in getting a bunch of weapons. You don't sell that, do you?
No.
What do you want, James? What about mustard gas? Do you serve mustard gas?
We do.
Okay, well, how about Coors Light?
No.
All right, fine. We'll take our business elsewhere. Peace be with you. Oh, by the way, we got you on YouTube. See you later, buddy. All right, James, where do you want to go? All right, we're going to hit up Burger King next. Peace be with you. I'm making a call to the emergency room because I took a whole bunch of laxatives. And we'll see what they say.
Calling to Chester County Hospital. All of our operators are busy at this time assisting other callers. Please hold for the next available operator. Thank you.
I took 25 laxatives, and people are concerned about my health, of what's going to happen. It's been over an hour now. We'll see. Yeah, can I speak to the emergency room? I have a question.
Sure.
Thank you. It's James Holmes, by the way.
Thank you for calling the Chester County Hospital Emergency Department. If you have a medical emergency, please hang up and dial 911. If you are calling for medical advice, please contact your family physician, as we are not permitted to give medical advice on the telephone. If you do not have a family doctor and feel you need to seek medical attention, you are welcome to come to our emergency department. If you are calling about a family member or have been seen in the emergency room in the past 24 hours, please stay on the line. Thank you.
We'll see if they can help me. Don't know. We'll see how the American healthcare system works in this country. Hi, I have a question, ma'am. My name is Jonathan Lee Riches. I was having problems using the bathroom, and I took 25 laxatives all at once. Is my health in danger in reference to that?
I can't give you medical advice, but I can tell you that you should probably be seen.
Okay. All right. I will be up there shortly then. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. She said I should probably be seen. So we're going to go because I did take 25 laxatives. It's a lot. We'll see what happens. So I will keep you informed. Jonathan Lee Riches and our friend James Holmes. Just chilling at the pool, relaxing. I love you, Jimmy.
For the better things, niggas with no money act like money isn't everything. I'm having a good time, they just trying to ruin it. Shout out to the fact that I'm the youngest nigga doing it. Out of here. Never trip, just keeps happiness.
Corticella, James Holmes is innocent. Corticella, James Holmes is innocent. Deemer, James Holmes is innocent. Free James Holmes. 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 Let's get out of here.
I'm about whatever, man. Fuck what they talking about. They ain't paying nothing down. We the only thing that matters. So we do it, how we do it. All up in your face, man. We put you through it. I be up all night, whole cruising, yeah. I don't really know who I'ma lose this year. Oh, man, I love my team, man. How we do it. All up in your face.
distance between us. You have come to show you. Near, far, wherever you are, I believe that's the heart does know. Once more, you open the door, and you hear in my heart, and my heart will go on and on.
Like what you did, like
Jonathan.
Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Yo, this is Gangster Bolshevik Radio. I'm Daryl here with Jonathan Lee Richards. Michael Sajak from Chicago is expected to call in, and it's also open to others. What's up, John?
Jonathan Lee Richards in the house. Yo.
So why don't you explain your situation, since nobody's gonna really cut you off today? Like what you did, like the Sandy Hook prank, all that, like what you're known for, and your experiences in jail.
Sure. Happy to help you.
Okay.
Happy to assist you and happy to contribute. Thanks for having me on.
Yep.
So, right now, currently, about 3 hours before our new year, I am in a halfway house in North Philadelphia. I've been incarcerated now for 3 years and about 11 days for probation violation. It's kind of ridiculous. So, everyone is about to say Happy New Year tonight. They're not realizing that once that clock ticks 12:01 a.m., there's going to be about 5,000 new state, federal, and local laws, rules, policy, and procedures that ultimately affects our rights. Anything and everything. I mean, you park 2 feet from away from your curb, you're subject to fine, local ordinance 128-126, fine, $69. If you don't have your gutters upright, that's another fine, and so on and so on. These local communities are a cash cow that's just exploiting the people. That's just my frustration. But as far as my own circumstances, yeah, I went up to Sandy Hook, but they do it. I didn't say I did it in court, though. I tried to play the denial role, but, I hire $20,000 for an attorney in Westchester, Pennsylvania. His name was Robert Donatoni. Gentleman was totally ineffective.
Yo, what's up? 819, Sajak here.
Yeah. Jonathan,
What's going on, guys?
explain his situation, what he's been doing the last few years, and then we'll get to what you've been doing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sounds good.
How you doing, Mr. Sajak, Mr. Riches?
Man, it's an honor to be on this call with you, man. You're a legend. You saved my life, man, and you're my hero. So I'm really excited. I'm really happy to be on.
Hey, I'm grateful and I am humble for you saying that. It really does mean a lot to me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, man. All right, yeah.
So as far as my own situation, so this is the deal. This is what happened. This is my own injustice. Okay, yes, I went to federal prison for 10 years, 125 months. Got arrested February 25th, 2003. I was living in Florida. Me and my fiance, co-defendant, live-in girlfriend, you can call her name was Stephanie Doyle. So, yeah, we were doing fraud in Florida. We were doing fraud for a while. And unfortunately, a gentleman out in Texas named Jason Michael Carpenter, he was doing a bunch of credit card fraud, and he got caught unrelated for, credit card packages to vacant houses. From that point, they zeroed in on him, local police, not FBI. And then instead of trying to, take the rap for a couple $100 worth of packages, he decided to talk to the FBI and tell them that there's another crew in Florida doing much bigger and badder things. From that point, Mr. Carpenter set me up with a wiretap. Basically, at the time, I had a database. I had a DMV database. You give me you give me a license plate of anyone's vehicle. I can tell you who the vehicle belongs to. Carpenter calls me up one day and comes up with this lame story. He says, yo, bro, a Mexican, was just outside my house. He hit my car and he took off, but I got his license plate. Can you run it for me? Whatever like that. And, as a friend, I said, yeah, sure. Give me the license plate. So he, I gave him the license plate, but at the time I was being recorded. Now, at that point, there comes probable cause in the court of law. At that point, FBI began watching me. They were watching me, on a daily basis, do my rounds of fraudulent activity and whatnot. So the day I got arrested, February 25th, 2013, I robbed 5 banks that day. And when I say robbed, I actually got a credit card and a fraudulent driver's license because I made driver's licenses with a PVC printer, and I would go into banks. Now,
you would think if the FBI is watching me rob 5 banks, they would actually arrest me after the first bank because, you know, you see a crime in progress, you got to stop it. But the FBI just continued to watch me. And then the 5th bank come out and I get arrested. So I get arrested and Stephanie gets arrested and they basically raid the home and take a bunch of evidence and whatnot. I've never seen the light of day since. So being incarcerated, get out. Get 125 months, the whole judicial proceedings down there in Texas. I got actually extradited to the Southern District of Texas. And this is a reminder to the world that the FBI can and will extradite you anywhere. You think you're safe on your soil. I've never been to Texas in my life. I did all my crimes in Florida. They just blocked me and took me to Houston, Texas, because why? A conspiracy starts there. So you kind of, you know, it kind of happens to the drug dealers down there in South America and whatnot that get extradited to the United States, or the terrorists, so-called de facto terrorists that are overseas that the United States kidnaps and bring them here and try and, you know, convict them or more or less give them a life sentence. Well, the same thing. If you feel you're safe on your soil, in your land, in your own jurisdiction, beware, buyer beware, because they're coming and they can come and they can pluck you up and then take you and dismantle you, your lifestyle, and take you into a community, try, convict you, and then basically send you off to a concentration camp, aka federal prison at any level. So my own injustice, I pled guilty to a $400 wire transfer. That's all I pled guilty to. Once you plead guilty on the federal level, then you waive your rights to appeal. And then there's this thing called 2B1.1, relevant conduct. And these people at this point, the federal government can, under the preponderance of the evidence, same thing in the civil procedure, can say however dollar amount that you took, basically without any evidence, just preponderance. So more or less they said, oh, I was a kingpin in an international identity theft ring that was responsible for $20.7 million, whatever like that. And I got jacked up all the way up to federal sentencing guidelines and got 125 months.
It's not beyond a reasonable doubt, which is the standard for a lot of other things in law.
Correct. So being incarcerated at that point, I'm incarcerated. And then eventually I do get out. When I get out, this is the deal. While I was incarcerated in the federal prison, Chester County, Pennsylvania, for some reason had a detainer on me from an old case right back from 1995. I used my telephone to record conversations. I was charged with wiretapping, legally taping somebody without their consent. Pennsylvania is one of the states that it's a felony. Most states it's a misdemeanor. I was put on 5 years probation, so I didn't do no jail time for that. However, they put a detainer on me. About 2 days before release from federal prison in 2012, the detainer was lifted for I don't know what reason, and I was let free. I go move back up to Pennsylvania to live with my mother because my mother was battling cancer at the time. And while in Pennsylvania, I'm going about my business on federal supervised release. While on federal supervised release, suddenly I get a letter in the mail. The letter says, report to Chester County Court of Common Pleas for a probation violation from 1995. So I'm sitting here thinking, what is this going on? You know, you're trying to persecute me 18 years later or 17 years later, 18 years, something like that. What's going on here? There's a due process, that sort of deal. And, I used some money, significant amount of money to get an attorney, and the attorney said, oh, don't worry about it. They're not going to give you jail time. However, they want to reinstate that old probation to run concurrent with a federal supervised release. Therefore, I would be on 2 jurisdictional probations running concurrent at the same time. So I was with it. I didn't know the repercussions of it down the line. So then, I'm on two probations. About a month or two later, Sandy Hook occurs, and I do what I do and go up to Sandy Hook, and I end up violating for leaving the state without permission. However, since I was on 2 probations, therefore I have to be punished twice for the same act, which is akin to what I think is double jeopardy, but they say it's under dual sovereignty, the dual sovereignty doctrine that both of them can crack at me consecutive, even though it was concurrent, for doing the same act. So Pennsylvania, for a probation violation, gives me a 2.5 to 5 years for a technical violation, probably the most harshest probation violation sentence in Pennsylvania modern history without an arrest. I wasn't even arrested. It was just a technical violation.
The Sandy Hook prank was freaking hilarious. You went up and you were praying, like, you went up there and actually saw the Lanza house, and then it was like you were praying and you're acting like, and they said the media came to you and you said you were Jonathan Lanza, who probably doesn't even exist, and then you said all sorts of stuff like he was on FANAP, and the whole media ran for it. They put up a video that was hilarious, although they took it down. There's still little clips of it, and then you ran away. So tell about that whole thing.
Yeah, so Sandy Hook, basically I went up there, with my own parody and mockery videos and produced a lot of videos. Actually, a lot of videos have not been released yet. I still have in my archives that I'm looking forward to release this spring. It'd be very shocking because, I was actually at Adam Lanza's window in his house and get chased off by a neighbor. I have another video when Dr. Sanjay Gupta of CNN was up there and he was in a sandwich shop getting a coffee and a sandwich, and he came out and I actually confronted him with my camera and asked him his take on the Sandy Hook and his belief that this could be a false flag attack, and then he didn't respond to me. So then I asked him for his green card and I asked him if he was here legally, and he just got red-faced and ran off from me. A lot of other videos. So I'm looking forward to release those videos. As far as the memorial, the Sandy Hook, I actually went up to the memorial, and I noticed a lot of cameras are all over the place. So I actually was texting and communicating with a lot of my friends saying, hey, look, do you see me live on TV right now? Because the cameras were rolling. Every media outlet in the world was up there. And some people were saying, actually, they were seeing me, believe it or not. And I don't know what footage. I guess it was the local affiliates out of New York City, the ABC and the NBC out of New York City. But then I decided to get on my knees and start praying. At that point, while I was praying on my knees, I could hear the snapshots, like camera snapshot me. So I thought, okay, let me just wing this. So I just pretend I was crying. And I started crying, going hysterical, and the cameras are rolling. I get up from the memorial, and this one media journalist comes up to me and goes, sir, you're very emotional here. What's going on? And then at that point, I just winged it. I'm Jonathan Lanza, uncle of the shooter, Adam Lanza.
Unfortunately, they took that video down, but it was hilarious. I didn't know you were going to put on probation, so I posted it.
Correct. So at this point, by identifying myself as Jonathan Lanza, then I started getting flooded like cockroaches. Everybody, all media outlets started swarming me, wanting an interview and asking me my take, and I just winged it. I basically said I was with Adam Lanza 2 weeks prior. We had a barbecue. Everything was fine. it had to be the medication. It had to be the FANAP, and so on and so on. At that point, I started getting worried, a little scared, because I was getting overwhelmed with the media, and I'm not used to media coverage like that. So I kind of
made the news, and I don't think there was any truth to it either. But like somebody said it was on FANAP, and then they had to retract it.
Correct. After they've realized it was a hoax or whatnot. I was referred as the Sandy Hook hoaxer and whatnot. So I basically ran off, kind of walked away from the scene, but I was getting chased by media, and I didn't know what to do, because my car was up the road and I was parked across the street from a church. And believe it or not, during that time, the actual victims of the shootings, the family, were praying in that church. And the church was basically, there was security outside the church to protect the families and whatnot. My car was parked across the street, and I was running up the hill, and the media was chasing me, but I didn't want to get in my car because they might have gotten my license plate and realized that I was not Jonathan Lanza and identified me or whatnot. So I just looked at the church, and I just ran to the church. And at that point, the security saw me and must have realized that the media were chasing me because I was a victim's family member or somebody. So they grabbed me, the security, and ushered me into the church and told the other media to back off the property. And I get into the church, and I was thanking them, thank you, you saved my life. These people want to interview from me, whatnot. I said, my nephew died from this tragedy, and I switched to role playing at that point. Now I become a victim's family member.
No videos of that, though, I don't think.
What's that?
I don't think there's any videos of what happened in the church.
There was videos to the chase all the way up to Sandy Hook, or up to the church, and then at that point, yeah, more or less onto the property. I don't remember me going actually in the church, but I remember me crossing the road to the church, and then I think the video was cut off or whatnot. But I go into the church.
You gotta be really descriptive, because we didn't get to see any of this.
What's that?
We didn't get to see what happened in the church, so you got to tell us all.
Yeah, so I go into the church, and once I get into the church, like I said, I told him, thank you, you saved my life and whatnot. The preacher of the church, now there's victims' family members flooded in there, praying. And one of the preachers, or I don't know who he was, he must have been the head preacher there, comes out and talks to me. And I said, look, you don't even understand, these media here trying to get an interview from me, whatever like that, and I need your help. So he brings over a big gentleman inside the church, and he goes, this guy's a retired police officer. He's security here. Give him the keys to your car. He'll pull it around back, and you can get in your car and leave. And I was at that. For a second, I was going to give him my keys, but I realized on the front seat of my car was Adam and Ryan Lanza dolls that I had with their pictures on dolls, Cabbage Patch dolls, on my front seat. And I was like, no way, man, I'm not going to give this guy my car, a cop, my car, or the keys in my car, so he could see some Lanza dolls on my front seat. He's going to think I'm a weirdo.
And your James Holmes and Lanza dolls are in your YouTube videos, but can you place them in the videos? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I said, no, I can't go that route. But I said, I need some help getting out of here, whatnot. And he said, well, come down to the basement. I'll give you a change of clothes, like a disguise. And this guy here, he had like some escort guy. He said, he'll take you through the woods, through the town, down the street, and you can go about your way. And I said, okay, cool. So I put on a different outfit, went out the back door of the church, and we started walking in the woods. And then I realized how, this is ridiculous. It's cold, whatever. So I just gave my keys to the guy that they had with me. I said, look, dude, here, just take my keys. This is my car. It's across the street from the church. Bring it down here right now, whatever. So I worked early before Barack arrived and started sweeping the property. So my followers and my fans telling me, yo, dude, you all over the news as the uncle, blah, 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 and then I started, I started seeing pictures of me viral online, kneeling at the memorial. So that was down to my police department that says the videos are online, and then they do get out on a daily basis, to go about my business. I'm allowed cell phones here and everything like that, so I'm not in any violation of anything. I have a curfew and whatnot, and I'll be released fully this spring.
Yep, good. Well, this is all I can take a lot of your videos.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to releasing the other material. I think it's going to be like nice raw material, and it'll be great. And hopefully it'll put some smiles on people's faces and get people, mad at me. That's, that's a matter of opinion. That's
All
a
right.
matter of the eye of the beholder.
So now you can keep going if you want, but we can hear Michael's story because he's been out for a year.
Michael's
Yeah,
story.
yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, Mike's story.
So tell us what you've been doing the past year.
Yeah, man, it's been a pretty productive year for me, actually. I was sort of offline looking for work. I was unemployed, living with my mother for a pretty long time. And then I finally, found a job. So now I'm just I kind of see myself as like a mole, if you will, because, I'm working here as a customer support representative for Uber. And so I'm in this corporate world, but I'm sort of also living sort of like a double life where, on the other hand, I'm plotting for the world to come, which is something that I think we're all sort of GB gangster Bolshevism is all about, So
yeah.
I sort of just covertly have been doing my own work for GB and had some books released actually, which was nice. Worked with Paul Bingham, co-wrote Black House Rocked.
That's Breck, by the way. Go ahead. Other people know him as Breck. Paul Bingham. Other people know him as Breck. Go ahead.
Oh, Breck, right? Yeah. So me and him basically sort of collaborated on this book, this novella, sort of like a vampire genre sort of thing. And that was published by Ann Sturzinger's Hopeless Books, Unincorporated, which is a little small press she made. And for those that don't know, for those of you who don't know who Ann Sturzinger is, she's like one of the more prominent writers for the alt-right. And just a really cool person. I had coffee with her a couple weeks ago, actually, and met her for the first time. And she's just a really sweet person. My poetry book, Panna's Dad, was sort of self-published. Actually, Harlem published that for me because I was broke at the time, using on a CreateSpace, Amazon, where you can basically publish your own work, self-publish. So he published my poetry book, and both have been getting some, good reviews from alt-right, bloggers and platforms like Countercurrents, for example, Matt Forney's blog. So it's been a pretty productive year for me, man. But I've also been just sort of laying low, just doing my thing,
Michael, JLR here. While incarcerated, while I was in state prison, I appreciate your correspondence. I did get some letters from you. You sent me some material that I actually passed along to an individual that's his type of topic that he was grateful for also. And I really did appreciate that.
Oh, it was my pleasure corresponding with you. Again, it was an honor. I mean, I'm really glad that you're out now. And actually, I was going to, I don't know if I can even talk about it yet, but Harlem, who's a fellow gangster Bolshevik, is planning an event in March, I think, in March or April, late March or early April. He's going to fly back into the U.S., Washington D.C., and he's going to chain himself to the Martin Luther King statue.
Nice.
Everybody came back. Jonathan came back. You came back, and Harlem came back.
Yeah. We all just sort of came back from our own sort of respective black holes. Harlem's still sort of hitchhiking around somewhere. I think he's in Thailand now, actually. And I do keep a pretty, consistent correspondence with him via email. We always write to each other. So he informed me about this event that he's trying to stage, and I said, "Man, that's beautiful. It's a great."
What is the cause to this? What is his purpose of doing this for? What is he trying to?
Right, he's trying to basically stand up against the evils of anti-racism, and sort of he wrote a manifesto actually. Daryl, are you outside?
Huh?
Are you outside, Daryl? There's a lot of background noise.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, but so Harlem has his own sort of political agenda, if you will. He wrote a manifesto, which you can also get on Amazon, called First Principles on Ending That Which We Oppose, which is everything that he's basically trying to do or trying to communicate is in that manifesto. Jonathan, JLR, if you want, I can link it to you on your Facebook page.
Yeah,
or something.
sure. I'll definitely take a look at it and give you my feedback on it.
Yeah.
Just tell him to be mindful, be careful, because a lot of times people go to Washington for whatever cause and end up violating some sort of rule or policy within the District of Columbia. Example, there's a gentleman online, Adam Kokesh. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him, Adam the Beast. You know, he's an advocate for Second Amendment rights. He would do the same thing and basically go, you know, and he went to Washington and with his gun, you know, and basically got arrested. So
nice, yeah.
You know, by chaining himself onto a memorial, he might be violating some sort of rule that could
That's
get him.
possible.
You know, and the D.C. District of Columbia, actually, believe it or not, that's federal jurisdiction. So any crime committed in D.C. would ultimately, you would ultimately go to federal prison if you got you know, time.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
So like the federal prisons are actually, believe it or not, the federal prisons are saturated with D.C. inmates, notorious like black inmates from D.C. that are flooded around the system. Basically, they're petty street crime type people, but since they're in the District of Columbia, they're under federal jurisdiction. So they come to the federal prisons and actually pollute it, believe it or not, with their bad attitudes and gang mentality and whatnot.
That's interesting. That's an interesting story. I didn't know that at all.
Yes, that's true.
So I know Pennsylvania prison was in Central PA was very racially, let's just say there weren't that many white people there.
Yeah, the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections actually runs their facilities relatively safe, believe it or not. It is controlled. There was advantages and disadvantages between that and federal prison. One, for me, I like the federal prisons because the federal prisons I can get out of my cell. Like you're not locked in all day, and I basically can get up at 5 a.m. and go run in the rec yard all morning long, you know, and go at my own will and take a shower whenever I want. The Pennsylvania prison system, you are locked in control movements. Basically, in order to come out your cell, the guards will open all the gates at the same time, and you got these line movements. You go to chow and you come back and you lock in. They'll call a rec, you know, move, and everyone will go to the rec yard at the same time. So there's hundreds and hundreds of people out there. You know, in federal prison, you can pick and choose when you want to go out, so you can critique it to when there's, you know, not a lot of people. But the Pennsylvania prison system, one, the mail, when you send the mail out, it's sealed. They don't read your mail, and two, you can have cable in your cell. And you know, I was able to manipulate the system to get V-coded. V-coded means not having a cellmate. I've had cellmates, but towards the end of my sentence, I went a good year without a cellmate. So I was by myself in a cell with cable. It was kind of nice, you know, especially, you know, watching mainstream media, which I love, the CNNs and the Fox News and whatnot.
People might not know, but me and Ed visited Jonathan while he was in prison. Go ahead.
Yes, and I appreciate that. You see how gangster I was looking with my beard, gray, from years of stress. And but I did enjoy the visit. You guys bought me a soda. It was good to get out and talk to fellow comrades and catch up on old stuff. You know, you know, most of the inmates in jail or sheeple, or they talk about nothing in substance. You know, so I don't really fit in with many people there. Now, I just wanted to let you guys know and say on record that I did some troll lawsuits out tonight. So and I paid tribute to GB. One suit that's going to be filed probably next week. It'll get processed. It's called GB White versus Ronda Rousey. You know, Ronda Rousey from the UFC. That's going to be an interesting lawsuit if it gets filed, and we'll see if it gets filed. And it's some very interesting, juicy allegations against Ronda Rousey. And another one, Wendy McDonald versus Jared Fogle in Subway. So the heading of the suit will be McDonald's versus Subway and Jared Fogle. So keep a lookout for that. We'll see if the media bites on that. To see if the media reports it as it is. You know how they are, non-fact checkers. They just report anything.
Yeah.
But you know, the situation, it is what it is. Everybody got to be mindful that federal rules, laws, and regulations. Feds come after you for everything, you know. And there's this thing on, you know, there's this initiative that I'm noticing online about these politicians talking about federal sentencing reform. The prisons are so overcrowded. You know, Barack Obama visiting a federal prison in El Reno, Oklahoma, visiting halfway houses, saying that more inmates need more educational programs and whatnot. I think it's just a sham and a farce. Same drumbeats going on. There's no programs in prison. It's more or less warehousing. There's nothing. There's Unicor. Unicor is the federal prison industries that basically labor inmates to just do slave work all day at like 12 cents an hour, and then they sell the furniture and all the equipment and whatnot that the inmates make and make a profit off of, and pretty much inmates to watch TV and play sports. I mean, that's pretty much what you do all day. Nothing of nothing. And these people that with nothing of nothing are going to get out of jail pretty soon.
All right. I'll be right back on and kind of making a purchase.
What about you,
That's fine.
Daryl, man?
I'll be on in just a minute.
Okay.
Yep. Let's like this.
Are we still on?
Yep, I'm still on. I'm going to be back in just a minute. Can you guys just talk a little bit?
Yeah, sure, bro. Anyway, so JLR, hold on, let me get you off speaker here. So yeah, about that event in Washington D.C., we were actually hoping to get you maybe to show up and maybe even just like pay your respects or something. I should be there. I'll be there. I'll be sort of doing my own thing. Maybe you know, recording some videos.
I would love to. For me, I would be on a little bit more forms of supervision, and obviously they're not going to probably let me, you know, leave the state. That's probably my own situation, you know. But otherwise, being in prison earlier in the year and seeing the events that unfolded in Baltimore with the riots and whatnot, you know, ultimately, if I was home, I would have been right on. I would have been right on before that. I would have been right on the front lines. I would have been on the front lines of Baltimore. I would have been in a black kufi with a black ISIS flag, waving it in front of the officers, right on the street, right in front of them. I would have been right there. In Ferguson, I would have been right there too. And I would have probably been downtown Ferguson, calling either Darren Wilson or Michael Brown, playing both sides of the fence, protecting both sides.
You know, and that's something, by the way, JLR, that I really admire about your work is that it's sort of politically ambiguous. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily like, you know, have an agenda to it.
There's no calls. I advocate no calls. I just like to have fun and just kind of like, you know, make my presence known in the scene and have a little fun in the process. Yeah. You know, sometimes I might be for a call, I might be for a call, and I might be against the calls. And I vice versa. I switch it up.
That's part of GB ideology, is that we're trolling the system as it is. We're not necessarily trying to fix it. We're like termites.
You just play the role, and you adjust on the fly, and you just wing it in a sense, and you see what happens, you know, and you don't take it personal. I don't take personal what anyone says.
The key thing is that we're not like right-wing types that are trying to bring back America and make it great again. We're kind of ants that are eating at the termites that are eating at the anthill, who have kind of realized things are fucked up and have given up on trying to fix things.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like my own situation right now, I think that I'm going to declare myself the first transgender Muslim in the United States. Basically, I'm going to ask for transgender rights for the LGBT community as being a Muslim. I think that would be highly offensive to the Muslims.
But I didn't go the whole way of it. I just made a post and people wrote it off as a joke.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be beautiful. Like, obviously, when I'm on federal supervised release, well, I can't have a male probation officer watching me pee in a cup. I demand to have a woman's bathroom. I demand, you know, hormonal treatment. I demand that if I ever violate again, to be placed into a woman's facility, not a man's facility, and so on and so on. You know,
you might actually have to get your dick removed and have it turned into a pussy to do that.
Well, I don't know the process, and I don't know how far extreme I would go, you know, but knowing me, maybe I would do that just to say I do it, you know. I don't know. I don't know where I'm at. I'll just play it by ear, and when the opportunity comes, I'll see what happens. But it is an idea. It's an idea that I'm contemplating at this time.
Well, I'd definitely be excited to see that happen.
Yeah, it'd probably be interesting what my own family thinks. You know, my family loves me a lot. I'm grateful for my mother, by the way, because my mother, you know, all the years she's put up with my shenanigans, and you know, in her eyes, I let her down, but she still loves me. She still supports me. She's there for me every time, and I will always be appreciative of that. You know, and hopefully I can spend, you know, she had cancer, and she's a little sick, and hopefully I can spend a little bit of time, you know, on this earth with her before whatever happens in the future. Yeah, I am grateful for her. You know, I love my mother very much.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I do. I'm in the same boat, actually. You know, more or less, you know, I don't see my father, so I only, you know, still communicate with my mother. And so I can definitely relate to that as well.
You were asking about what I did when I was at a register, like the last few years. I mean, I've continued to work on my skill set, which includes, you know, programmer, analyst type stuff. But in terms of trolling, honestly, GP Radio kind of fizzled because, like I said, you, Jonathan, Harlem, like Michael, Jonathan, and Harlem just came back, and I think a lot of like Paul and Breck, like Paul/Breck, is kind of hasn't been doing a lot of radio. So lately, until you guys came back, I wasn't doing that much radio. I was just kind of, you know, trolling around Philadelphia basically.
But yeah, that's something that definitely, like, for me personally, you know, once I'm released, most definitely in the Philadelphia tri-state area where I'm able to, you know, it's definitely going to take advantage of my jurisdiction, and I'm going to have some fun in Philadelphia and the surrounding areas, big time. You know, I have a lot of, you know, sitting in jail, you can plot and scheme, and I have a lot of ideas that I definitely want to put into fruition.
What states are you allowed to go to?
What's that?
What states are you allowed to visit? Only Pennsylvania?
I'm allowed to visit New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania.
Somebody's echoing with their computer. Someone's phone is like echoing.
Yeah, that's not me.
Somebody got a dog. I've heard a dog.
No, it's not me. I don't have a dog. Daryl,
going back
I think
to the computer.
it's coming from your end, Daryl.
I'm logging into the chat. Just give me a minute. I have to get on Wi-Fi.
Might be somebody personally trying to sabotage the conversation.
That's a
I'm going to be in
possibility.
the chat in just a second. Hold on. I have to connect to the internet, and I'm going to see who it is. Keep going.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah,
see, it happens when Daryl speaks, I think.
Right now, see, with CallShoot, there's also a chat room, and I have to administrate that to start and end the program. And if I get into that, I can see who this is. But the problem is it's taking me a while to connect to Wi-Fi.
Is that better?
So just, I'll be able to take care of it once I get in.
Now, there was some things I was doing.
Just keep going for now.
All right, well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I'm gonna have to sign off. I gotta handle some affairs over here.
All right, JR. Hey, man. Hey, Happy New Year, man.
Yeah, take care of you guys, man.
All right, 819. See you, JR.
Happy Limpet here. I don't know if that's... All right, hey,
Daryl, I'm
Pastor
probably going to sign off,
Limpet.
too, because this static is,
All right.
really ruining the call.
Yeah,
So,
we're just trying to end the show. We had a good show. We don't want to ruin it with a bunch of static and crap. So 819, see you
Yeah.
guys.
yeah, 819. Happy New Year, guys. All right.
Happy New Year.
At the end, during the trial, you admitted what the judge later called some of the worst child cruelty
I had.
ever.
This shit's fucking crazy, ain't it? It's fucking insane. I found a couple other little things we can watch for a second here, and then we're gonna jump off here. We got stuck on Jonathan Lee Riches. Funny, huh? He's a fucking idiot. Just a second here.
Jonathan Lee Riches, Chapter 1, The Identity Thief. In the early 2000s, when people had less experience with technology and the internet, Jonathan Lee Riches helped develop the identity theft technique known as phishing. He was in his mid-20s, living in Florida and collaborating with teenage chat room acquaintances in Texas, who used spam emails to trick victims into disclosing personal information. Riches' role was to monetize the data, which he accomplished by seamlessly navigating the online and offline worlds. Investigators described the way Jonathan Lee Riches would stroll into a bank, flash fake identification and coolly impersonate his victim, convincing tellers to hand over thousands of dollars in cash. The consequences reverberated widely. By the estimate of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the group charged more than $1.4 million to accounts opened in the names of about 2,000 people. Riches was the ringleader and was sent to prison for 10 years. Riches' own parents, who live in a small town in Pennsylvania, served probation for failing to fully cooperate with investigators. Sentenced to 125 months in prison for fraud and conspiracy, Riches kept up a steady legal correspondence on his case. In March 2006, from a medium-security prison in South Carolina, he filed a motion seeking the return of confiscated assets, including 23 new PlayStation video games, a commemorative Super Bowl football, 66 new shirts with tags, a plunger, a subwoofer, and a box of life vests. The document drew little attention or sympathy, and the judge ordered the items forfeited to the FBI for donation to Goodwill Industries. In hindsight, though, his signature on the sworn statement Jonathan Lee Riches' copyright signified the start of a publicity campaign. He used the copyright symbol that same month in a 9-page conspiracy complaint seeking damages of $379,111,339,000,000,000 backed by gold or silver. Filing his suit in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, he named several hundred defendants, including President Bush, Pope Benedict XVI, Bill Gates, and Kofi Annan.
I know that he's a fucking idiot. I think it's about enough of this fucking douchebag for a minute. I'm going to keep up with all this shit, though, now with him, and we might be back tomorrow and discuss him after I do my Murdaugh in the daytime. What's up, Truly, sis? I love you. Truly, we really need to make plans to meet up. I could really use somebody close, you know. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to get off here. I love y'all. I don't know if anybody's going live. Cher might. Never know about her. I don't know. But I will talk to you all tomorrow or in another chat tonight or whatever. I love you all and good night. And thank you so much. I'll text you truly love. Squids, good night. And whoever else is here. Love y'all. Good night.